Chapter 654. Muchichi's guess was right. Huang Yao's fake diamonds had a more serious follow-up. Early in the morning, another Huang Yao customer brought a reporter to Huang Yao's counter. Just like the rich lady before, she also bought a fake one. If there was only one case, it might not prove that someone deliberately framed Huang Yao. But there were two cases in a row. How could Sheng Bowen continue to comfort himself? Every necklace and accessory in Huang Yao had a special serial number corresponding to it. Moreover, there were specialized senior customer service staff in charge of sales in every area. But from the beginning until now, the staff in charge of that area had disappeared. The corresponding diamond was also missing. Wasn't that enough to explain the problem? Sheng Bowen called the police late last night. Before dawn, an emergency board meeting was held and an emergency plan was launched. Now Huang Yao's jewelry sales were completely stopped. Sheng Bowen asked the employees to check the current jewelry in Huang Yao one by one to prevent any more fake goods. But even if he did this, there were still some loopholes. Sheng Bowen had already sent people to look for the customer that the missing employee was in charge of and sincerely recovered the jewelry. However, he was not willing to buy some people at all, especially this rich young lady in front of him. Of course, this was her personal choice. The staff of Huang Yao tried to communicate with her, but found that it was useless. She did not really want to solve the problem. She just wanted to expose the fake jewelry in Huang Yao. She was angry. She felt that Huang Yao had hurt her interests as a VVIP member of Huang Yao. She was embarrassed wearing fake jewelry when she went out. Then the news in Jianchuan followed up and reported it. Huang Yao immediately issued a public relations document. First, it was a sincere apology. Due to the staff's poor management, the interests of the consumers were damaged. Huang Yao had called the police, and the police would find the person involved as soon as possible. Secondly, Huang Yao would recover the jewelry sold by the staff to protect the rights of every consumer. They also promised that Huang Yao would identify the authenticity of the jewelry on the spot and give the consumers the most satisfactory answer. Once the public relations document was issued, it did not restore much confidence in Huang Yao. Because it was the time when the consumers were disgusted, the matter continued to ferment. Old Sheng had planned to live out his remaining years in peace. After all, it was not easy for him to keep his life. But now that the news about Huang Yao had blown up, he would not be old Sheng if he pretended that nothing had happened. So he called Sheng Bowen home. "Third brother, what's going on?" Old Master Sheng pointed at the news on the television and asked, "Wasn't it fine 2 days ago?" "Grandpa, I'm sorry. I'm useless." Sheng Bowen said helplessly, "I can't be like eighth brother and kill all problems in the cradle. I've seen your public relations work. There's nothing you missed out on. You've done everything you should." Old Master Sheng sighed. "I just want to know if this matter has anything to do with Sheng Kai." Sheng Bowen lowered his head and did not look at the old man. After a while, he replied, "The matter is still under investigation. We can't be sure yet. I know that you're worried about my health." Old Master Sheng waved his hand. "It's my fault that I didn't get rid of this evil creature. Now that he has made a comeback and wants to stir up trouble, you're the only one who can bear it." After saying that, Old Master Sheng turned around and supported himself on the chair. Sheng Bowen was worried about his health, so he quickly went forward to support him. "Grandpa, I will do my best to protect Huang Yao. Although I'm not as smart as eighth brother, as long as I'm the CEO of Huang Yao, I will treat Huang Yao as my own life." Old Master Sheng shook his head and patted him on the shoulder. "Just do your best." Now he was no longer obsessed with these things. However, Sheng Bowen still felt that he had a great responsibility. So, after meeting Old Master Sheng, he returned to Huang Yao. But when the secretary saw him, she said awkwardly, "CO, there's another distinguished guest." Sheng Bowen knew very well that they were probably here for the shares in Sheng Kai's hands. These people were taking advantage of the situation. He did not know how much they would lower the price. "So okay. Make tea and bring it to the conference room." After the incident at Huang Yao broke out, Muchichi also paid close attention to it. If the troublemaker's rich wife yesterday was just a test subject, then this rich young lady today should be a new breed that the other party had improved and was more aggressive. The divorce between Hu Ran and Sheng Bowen was already a blow to him. Now that Huang Yao was being targeted like this, Muchichi could not imagine how difficult her brother's life would be. It was especially so for Old Master Sheng, who had just returned home. He valued Huang Yao the most. Now that such a thing happened to Huang Yao, she did not know if he would be provoked and return to the hospital again. Feng Shanshan saw that she was not paying attention, so she asked her, "Do you want to go back and help? There's nothing much to do in the station these few days. You don't need to waste your time here." How can I help? I've heard about the VVIP night of Huang Yao that you planned. Although you're really annoying, you're really smart. Moreover, you're a forensic doctor after all. You'll definitely be able to detect problems better than the average person. Maybe you can really find something when you go back and take a look. Mu Qiqi shook her head. I don't know about jewelry, but you've seen a lot of schemes. But Xing Xiao said that this time he would let Xing Bowen grow alone. So, even if she wanted to help, she felt that her man was right. And what identity should I go with? Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. When she was about to go back to the lab, a senior came to her and told her that someone was looking for her. Mu Qiqi thought that it was Mu Tangxue again and did not want to see her. But when she saw the person, she realized that the person was looking for Xing Bowen. It was Hu Ran. Did I disturb you? No. Mu Qiqi shook her head. They were not related in name anymore. Mu Qiqi did not know this former sister-in-law very well. So, it was inevitable that they would feel awkward. If you're here to ask about third brother, I suggest you go and see him yourself. I don't know much either. All I know is from TV and gossip. Having said that, Mu Qiqi was about to leave, but Hu Ran stopped her. I never thought that I would leave him at this critical moment. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Chapter 655. Since you left so decisively, don't pretend to be affectionate to tease him. He's already in a bad situation. You know, third brother is easily soft-hearted. This was Mu Qiqi's last advice to Hu Ran. And Hu Ran could tell from Mu Qiqi's words that she hated her. Because Mu Qiqi was a very direct person. If she liked someone, she liked them. She hated them, she hated them. Since she accepted her as her third sister-in-law because of Xing Bowen, she could also hate her because of Xing Bowen. She was the one who wanted to leave, and now she was the one who pretended to care. Although Mu Qiqi did not want to comment on other people's feelings, she knew that she should not give up easily. If she wanted to give up, she should do it directly. In fact, Hu Ran did not know why she had become such a disgusting person. Xing Bowen probably thought the same about her. After Mu Qiqi returned to the laboratory, she still felt sorry for Xing Bowen. So, she took off her white coat and said to Feng Shanshan, I'll go and see if third brother needs my help. Go. I think you should be able to help a lot. Mu Qiqi left the branch office. On the way she called Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao knew that this little one could not help but not care about him. It would be fine if it was someone else, but she cared about Xing Bowen as a real brother. Don't interfere with things that you shouldn't interfere with. You have to know your limits. Also, you'd better go and help, not cause trouble. You underestimate me. Mu Qiqi snorted. I'll talk to you in detail when I get home tonight. After that, Mu Qiqi hung up. At this time, Xing Xiao asked Su Che about Xing Kai's recent news. If it was really Xing Kai this time, he would definitely make Xing Kai fall into eternal damnation. An hour later, Mu Qiqi arrived at Huang Yao. Now, the entrance was surrounded by reporters. It seemed that they did not want to give her a chance to breathe. Seeing this, Mu Qiqi could only call Xing Bowen. Third brother, your helper is here. Xing Bowen hesitated for a moment, but he still felt that Mu Qiqi's little brain might really be able to help him. So he asked his secretary to bring Mu Qiqi upstairs. However, during this process the secretary seemed to be different from other secretaries. Miss Mu, I used to work for Xing Kai. Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment, but the secretary continued. Back then he asked me to spy on the president, and I was sent to the president's side. The president also knew that I was a spy, but he didn't fire me. Instead, he still gave me an important task. He is a very kind person. That's why I feel terrible seeing him suffer like this. I hope that Miss Mu can help him. I know that you're very outstanding. Mu Qiqi's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. She did not expect third brother's secretary to have such a background. She had never heard him mention it before. I hope so. I can help him. Soon, the two of them arrived at the CEO's office. When Xing Bowen saw Mu Qiqi, he forced a smile. Eighth brother asked you to help me? Didn't he say that he wouldn't care about such things? Don't listen to him. What does he mean by not interfering with your growth? I think that person must have done more behind the scenes. It's just that we don't know yet. In this world, you are probably the person who knows him the best. Mu Qiqi saw that his desk was full of documents. She knew how troubled he was. Is there anything I can help you with now? The police are doing their best to arrest that employee. Although Huang Yao was framed, it's also because of our negligence that this happened. No matter what, I must bear this responsibility. The most troublesome thing now is how to appease the two VVIP members who bought the fake goods. It seems that they don't want to reconcile or even solve the problem. They just want to vent their anger. Before they are appeased, I can't proceed with the second step. Let me have a look at their information. Maybe I can handle it? Muchichi said. Sheng Bowen looked at Muchichi deeply and finally nodded. I'll ask my secretary to prepare it for you. What's your secretary's name? Ren Yufei. What's wrong? Muchichi looked at his back and shook her head. It's nothing. If I really get rid of these two people, how are you going to thank me? What do you want? Just tell me. Sheng Bowen knew that Muchichi did not lack anything. Whatever she wanted, eighth brother would do it for her. I'll owe you. Of course, I'm not 100% confident. I might make things worse. You have to be mentally prepared. What could be worse than this? Sheng Bowen couldn't help but sneer. Have you asked Sheng Kai about it? I'll solve my own problem first. Obviously, Sheng Bowen had a deep understanding of his situation. It also meant that he was actually a down-to-earth man, although he might not be as smart as Xing Xiao. Muchichi did not mention Sheng Kai again. She felt that Sheng Kai's name was not worthy to be mentioned in front of third brother. Soon, Secretary Rin gave Muchichi the information of the two VVIP members. Muchichi seized the time and acted immediately. As a matter of fact, old Xing really wanted to do something for Huang Yao, even if it was something insignificant. However, he knew that he shouldn't trouble third brother with his current situation. Moreover, he believed that eighth brother would support Huang Yao from behind, which was why he forced himself to let go of his worries for Huang Yao and Sheng Bowen. However, his anxiety was relieved when he heard that Muchichi would go over to help. Indeed, one could only see the truth in adversity. At a time like this, we can't rely on anyone from the Sheng family. It's hard on that girl. She knows nothing about jewelry, but she is still willing to help. In fact, old Master Sheng trusted Muchichi very much. He had seen the VVIP night planned by this girl. She was very smart. Moreover, she was good at resolving conflicts. But when he thought of how he treated her in the past, he could not help but feel a little ashamed. Muchichi looked at the information of the two guests. One was a rich lady and the other was a rich young lady. Although Muchichi was not sure if they were really related to Sheng Kai, the two types of people had completely different personalities. Of course, they would solve things differently. Chapter 656. Sheng Bowen gave Secretary Ren to Muchichi because she knew the current situation of Huang Yao better. In fact, Ren Yufei really wanted to know what Muchichi was planning. Why didn't she go to the rich lady's house first? Instead, she wanted to look for this rich lady first. The two of them soon arrived at the door of the rich lady's house. Before entering, Ren Yufei asked Muchichi with some uncertainty, Miss Mu, are you really going to deal with this reporter first? She is a very difficult person to deal with. Don't think about it. Let's go in, Muchichi said meaningfully. Muchichi said meaningfully, I've seen a lot of troublesome people. I won't let you down. How can I bear to make you worry about third brother? Ren Yufei's face suddenly turned red. It seemed that Muchichi's guess was right. This secretary had slowly changed from admiration to liking Sheng Bowen. Miss Mu, please don't make such a joke. After all, the president is also a man with a family. I don't want him to be misunderstood. That was true. At present, the outside world still did not know the news of Sheng Bowen and Hu Ran's divorce. However, she would not tell the secretary about it because she did not want this well-behaved secretary to become Sheng Bowen's healing medicine. It was very unfair to her. All right, I'll be careful in the future. You can go and ring the doorbell. Ren Yufei nodded and went forward to ring the doorbell. Then, the family servant came out to open the door and asked Muchichi who they were looking for. Ren Yufei expressed the purpose of their visit, and the servant quickly invited the two of them into the living room. However, the two of them waited in the living room for about an hour before they saw the rich lady get up from the bed. It was winter, but she was wearing beige silk pajamas. She sat down in front of Muchichi and Ren Yufei. You're here for the fake diamond incident, right? But I've already expressed my position very clearly. I don't want any compensation and I don't need any apology. Huang Yao has embarrassed me. I won't let it go. Is this logic right? The other party glanced at the two of them and said in an impolite tone, no matter what you want me to ask for today, I will tell you that when I'm not angry, Huang Yao will never be good. Miss Gao, do I look like someone from Huang Yao? Muchichi asked with a smile. The man looked at Muchichi suspiciously. Then he said, I've seen your secretary twice. Miss Gao, you come from a famous family, and you are also a fashion reporter. You have been involved with fashion since young, and you have a public account on all the major websites. Am I right? What are you trying to say? Muchichi smiled confidently and took out her phone from her pocket. She found the short video she had just searched for and showed it to him. This video is quite old. It's one of Miss Gao's early works. It clearly records how Miss Gao taught everyone how to distinguish between real and fake diamonds. So, with all due respect, with Miss Gao's eyesight, it's unlikely that you can't tell if this diamond necklace is real or fake, right? The man did not expect Mu Chichi to show him the video. His expression was a little unnatural. You said it yourself. It was years ago. She already had such a good eye for diamonds a few years ago. Could it be that after a few years Miss Gao's eye for diamonds has deteriorated? Don't you know how to distinguish between diamonds? Then aren't you lying to the public by posting these on all the public accounts? Mu Chichi looked innocent and curious. But, in fact, she was pressuring the man step by step. If Miss Gao really admitted that she bought a fake necklace, then she would be suspected of lying to the fans. In fact, it would be a bad thing for both sides. I was confused for a moment. What's so strange about that? Miss Gao, I also believe that you were confused for a moment. But the fans won't believe it, right? Mu Chichi knocked on the glass coffee table with her finger. The man was obviously speechless after hearing Mu Chichi's words. He could only look away. The rich lady from before said that she bought a fake diamond. Alright, I'll assume that she is a nouveau riche. It's reasonable for her to buy a fake necklace. But would a fashionista like Miss Gao make such a mistake? Mu Chichi pressed on. The man's eyes flickered. He subconsciously clenched his fists. This was a sign of nervousness. Miss Gao, you don't have to be nervous. After all, I've said that I'm not an employee of Huang Yao. I'm not here today to criticize you. I just want to help you solve your problem. The man pursed his lips. Finally, he turned around and looked at Mu Chichi warily. Can you really solve it? That must be built on the basis of mutual trust. Miss Gao, you should tell me why you want to do this. This is the premise. Mu Chichi took the opportunity to make a request. The man was obviously very resistant to this answer. Moreover, what Mu Chichi said was not a big enough threat to Miss Gao. I can't say. Mu Chichi seemed to have expected this answer. She smiled and said, that's fine. I still have to go to the rich lady's place. I just don't know what kind of answer she will give me. And Miss Gao, let me give you a piece of advice. Slandering Huang Yao will not do you any good. Even if Huang Yao closes down in the end, the Sheng family still has Zhongting. But what about you? If Huang Yao is damaged as the person involved, don't think that you can stay out of it. At most, we will all die together. It's fine for us. The Sheng family is a big business. At most, we will earn less money. But for you, your reputation will be ruined in front of your fans. This will be worse than killing you. After all, this is the result of your hard work. So it's fine. I'm also very easygoing. I'm just here to express my stance. Since you have given me the answer, then, let's go first. After all, Miss Gao's time is very precious. Having said that, Mu Chichi stood up from the sofa. Ren Yufei followed behind her. The two of them walked toward the door without any hesitation. It was as if they were not afraid that Huang Yao's reputation would be ruined. Helpless, Miss Gao had no choice but to stop her. If I tell you who the mastermind is, will you be able to think of a way to solve this problem? I said, you have to tell me what happened first. I don't like people negotiating with me. The other party was really helpless. In the end, she made a gesture of invitation. Sit down first. I will tell you slowly. When Mu Chichi and Ren Yufei returned to their seats, Miss Gao said, you guessed right. When I went to buy the diamond, I already knew that the necklace was fake. Chapter 657. Who? His surname is also Sheng. He didn't let me know his full name, and that's all I know. As long as I act well, not only can I get compensation from Huang Yao, but I can also get a reward from him. Because of this temptation, I agreed. Miss Gao told her everything. Because she knew very well that Mu Chichi was the one who scared people now. This girl was too smart. It's really him. Mu Chichi sneered. You can't get the money. I can only guarantee that you won't lose your reputation. But you can't do anything like leading the way anymore. I admit defeat when I meet you. The other party spread out her hands helplessly. You have your own resources and are born with a lot of ways to make money. However, the last thing you should do is harm the interests of others to achieve your own goals. Not to mention that Huang Yao is innocent, your way of doing things is unreasonable no matter where you go. Blocking people's way of making money is like killing their parents. Do you think that even if you get the money you won't be hurt? Especially as a public figure, if you don't cherish your own feathers, it's only a matter of time before you self-destruct. Think about it carefully. After hearing this, Miss Gao couldn't help but laugh at herself. I'm almost 28 years old. My knowledge and foresight can't compare to a young girl in her early 20s. I'm convinced. What do you need me to do? Mu Chichi looked at her and then whispered a plan in her ear. The whole process only took half an hour. Ren Yufei thought that she would spend the whole day with Mu Chichi. She even imagined that they would talk to each other in a low voice. However, she did not expect that Mu Chichi looked young and impatient. In fact, there was a ravine in her heart. No wonder Ren Yufei saw Mu Chichi playing with her phone all the way here. It turned out that Mu Chichi was preparing to negotiate with Miss Gao. "Miss Mu, where are we going now? To that rich lady's house?" Mu Chichi shook her head. "There's no need. As I said, the rich lady can pretend that I don't know anything, so what we did just now won't be able to threaten her. That Miss Gao cares because she's very famous outside. This rich lady is just an accessory to her husband. She lives in seclusion. As long as Miss Gao comes out to appease the consumers, what's the big deal about the rich lady? Let's go back to Huang Yao." Ren Yufei nodded and followed behind Mu Chichi. The two of them quickly returned to Huang Yao. Sheng Bowen was even a little surprised. "Has he been dealt with?" "More accurately, I've settled half of it." Mu Chichi smiled. "Third brother, I didn't tell you about this when we went out to look for Miss Gao. Since they are already VVIP customers of Huang Yao, why can't they tell the difference between real and fake diamonds? Have you ever thought about it?" Sheng Bowen pondered for a few seconds and finally understood. That Gao guy, in order to show off, made a video of him trying to distinguish diamonds. But this time she bought a fake diamond. Do you think her fans will still believe her in the future? But she doesn't want to stand out and say that I was forced to do it for money. So I thought of a compromise. I asked her to go to the hospital as soon as possible to get a certificate to prove that there's something wrong with her eyes, so that she can't distinguish the diamonds. Then she will come out and make a statement. Only then will her public image not collapse in front of her fans. She will take this opportunity to speak up for Huang Yao. After Sheng Bowen heard this, he gave her a thumbs up. "You've been with eighth brother for a long time. You've become so good at doing things. I can't help but admire you. In short, I have to thank you for this. Say thank you later. You can go with your little secretary. I'll wait for Miss Gao to come out and make a statement." Sheng Bowen patted Mu Chichi's shoulder. His heart was heavy at first, but at this moment he suddenly felt relieved. "Then I'll be busy. Yufei, prepare the documents. I have a meeting soon." Mu Chichi stayed in Shen Bowen's office. She didn't go anywhere. Because she couldn't guarantee that Gao Gai would really speak up for Huang Yao. Who could say for sure what would happen in the future? Especially since the little secretary had gone with Sheng Bowen. Now, there was no one in the office to accompany her to relieve her boredom. In the meeting room of Huang Yao, the board of directors was currently discussing the issue of Sheng Kai's shares. According to the information that Shen Bowen had, Sheng Kai seemed to have decided to sell his shares to a notorious foreigner. To Sheng Kai he could do whatever he wanted now. After all, he just needed to sit at home and collect money. He was not the one who needed to worry about how to manage the company. The police have made a major breakthrough. There are clues about the salesman and the whereabouts of the real necklace. After all, it's a big deal. It's not easy for him to sell it, so he put it on the black market. But the police intercepted it. Judging from the two incidents, both were done by Sheng Kai. Our people who went to look for Miss Gao have already understood the situation clearly. At present, there are more and more clues. It's also beneficial for us. Sooner or later, the truth will come to light. Co. Sheng, I don't doubt your ability. But shouldn't we think of a way to get rid of Sheng Kai? Otherwise, we will have endless trouble in the future. In the meeting room, the discussion was in full swing. After a while, Sheng Bowen brought his secretary to a video conference because several of his partners had shaken their confidence in the cooperation. He had to appease them first. Meanwhile, Ren Yufei tirelessly followed by his side. She did not even complain for a moment. Perhaps it was because Miss Gao needed time to prepare, so Mu Chichi waited in Huang Yao's office until the afternoon. Huang Yao's shares were still plummeting. Mu Chichi thought that she would wait for Miss Gao to arrive at 4 o'clock. If Miss Gao was still unwilling or did not have the courage to stand up, then she would make her move. Just when she was bored, Xing Xiao called her. "How is it?" Mu Chichi looked at the time and answered Xing Xiao, "I'm waiting for news. It's just that it's really boring in third brother's office. Su Che is downstairs. Go home, little one." Xing Xiao smiled. "Since you're waiting, why don't you stay by my side?" "Of course, I'd rather be with you." After Mu Chichi hung up the phone, she quickly went downstairs. At this time, one of the people involved in the fake diamond incident stood out in public again. Chapter 658. If the person involved in this matter continued to bite on Huang Yao, then Huang Yao's positive image would continue to decline in the hearts of the consumers. Therefore, Miss Gao's attitude was very important. However, she had made it clear last time that she would not reconcile with Huang Yao. She must see Huang Yao's reputation fall to the ground. So, if she spoke again, did it mean that she would reveal more about the communication between her and Huang Yao? Maybe there would be some big news? But, to everyone's surprise, Miss Gao first apologized to the media and the public as soon as she came out. Then she took out the diagnosis she had prepared. She claimed that there was indeed something wrong with her eyes recently. Her vision was always blurry and she had double vision. So, when she chose the diamonds, she might have done it under the condition of poor eyesight. She did not do a good job of distinguishing the diamonds, so she was also responsible. Secondly, under such a premise, she also came to the conclusion that this matter was a problem with the internal employees of Huang Yao from beginning to end. It was not a problem with Huang Yao's diamonds. This also showed that the quality of Huang Yao was still trustworthy. In addition, Huang Yao had recently added a segment to test the authenticity of the diamonds on the spot. Therefore, from this point of view, what Huang Yao needed to solve now was internal staff conflicts. As long as the person who set the pace led the problem to the right path, then the public would shift their attention to the real problem. In other words, it was meaningless for the media to hype up the news of Huang Yao selling fake goods. As for the rich madam, just as Mu Qiqi said, after Miss Gao came out to speak, she became completely unimportant. Because Miss Gao had already said that there was no problem with the quality of Huang Yao. However, no one in this world was perfect. You could not expect the company and everyone to never have a problem. You had to give them time to solve it. And Huang Yao was also actively responding, and the police were also trying their best to arrest the suspect. Therefore, Miss Gao felt that she should not use her popularity to cause negative damage to Huang Yao. With such a change in direction, the people of Huang Yao immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Even if there was no way to immediately eliminate the negative impact, it was equivalent to releasing all the pressure on them. Mississippi Mu, you are really capable and smart. This was Rin Yufei's feeling after following behind Mu Qiqi for a long time. Maybe it's because of her keen senses as a forensic doctor that she can easily see things that we can't. When we went to the Gao family, I really thought that we would have to kneel and apologize to each other. After Xing Bowen heard this, he smiled. Xiao Qi has reached out her hand and achieved the desired effect. It's time for us to work hard and complete our mission. After that, Xing Bowen looked at his watch. Let's go. We're running out of time. When the police bring him back, we should go and meet Xing Kai. From the bottom of his heart, Xing Bowen admitted that Mu Qiqi had helped him a lot this time. Perhaps, his eighth brother and his wife were his benefactors in this life. At the same time, he learned a little about Mu Qiqi's meticulousness. At the very least, he would be more confident in dealing with such emergencies in the future. Mu Qiqi was very satisfied when she saw Miss Gao's statement on TV. At least, she had accurately conveyed what she wanted that woman to say to the public. At least the huge mountain that was pressing down on Huang Yao's head was finally gone. Third brother should be able to relax now, said Mu Qiqi as she leaned against Xing Zhao's desk. Well done, Xing Zhao praised without looking up. You know how to use the available clues to counterattack. Didn't I learn it from you? Mu Qiqi walked around the desk and sat on Xing Zhao's lap. I've been subtly influenced by you. You grasped the key point and broke it in one blow. But you haven't done it thoroughly enough. Xing Zhao looked at her and said, you only managed to save your life. You're considered qualified. But you haven't learned the most important thing, counterattack. Have you forgotten that there's a saying? You'll get yourself into trouble? Mu Qiqi suddenly realized that Xing Zhao was reminding her not to forget the person who ignited the fire. Once the crisis of Huang Yao was resolved, it would be the time for others to suffer. So, that night, there was a new development in the case of Huang Yao selling fake diamonds. Someone had been bribed and instigated. It was said that this person had a deep grudge against the Sheng family before, and this move was to take revenge. Moreover, Xing Kai had been planning to sell his shares in Huang Yao recently. So, the public naturally pointed the finger at Xing Kai as the suspect. The consortium that had originally planned to buy Xing Kai's shares withdrew automatically when they found out that Xing Kai had such a deep grudge against the Sheng family. After all, they did not want to be involved too much with the grudges of a wealthy family. In addition, Xing Bowen was as calm as Mount Tai. Therefore, the internal affairs of Huang Yao were temporarily stabilized by him. This was probably because of the blessing brought about by his loyal personality. Especially in times of crisis, such people were often more likely to gain the trust of others. However, the thrilling events of the past 2 days were still very hard for Huang Yao. Sheng Bowen worked overtime at the company until late at night. When he looked up and saw the secretary behind the glass door, he could not help but feel guilty. So he stood up and walked to Ren Yufei. You can get off work long ago. You don't have to stay here. Now that Huang Yao has passed the crisis, go back and rest or go on a date with your boyfriend. Ren Yufei saw Sheng Bowen's tall figure and nodded. Okay, then I'll go home first. This little girl was really affectionate and loyal. She had done her best for Huang Yao. The fake diamond incident was like a storm for Huang Yao. It came and went quickly. After Sheng Bowen settled the matter of Huang Yao and returned home, he told Old Master Sheng about Mu Qiqi's contributions. When Old Master Sheng heard about it, he sighed repeatedly. How good would it be if this girl didn't become a forensic doctor and helped manage Huang Yao? Grandpa, all right, I know that her ambition is not here and I won't force her. However, it was indeed because of that girl's wit that Huang Yao was able to get through the crisis so quickly this time. Treat her to a meal some other day and thank her for me. After hearing Old Master Sheng's words, Sheng Bowen laughed. After this old man was sick, he was indeed very different from before. He was also willing to understand others. Chapter 659. I don't want to think about this for the time being. I just got divorced so I haven't forgotten about her yet, Sheng Bowen replied. Although there was no passionate love between him and Hu Ran, they had been husband and wife for so long. He really couldn't turn around and find another woman. Up to you. After saying that, the old man returned to his room. Then Sheng Bowen called Xing Xiao. Want to have a drink with Xiao Qi? Sure, Xing Xiao said. Then I'll choose a place and send you the address. Xing Xiao was silent for a moment and did not respond. It was as if he was talking to the woman beside him. After about 10 seconds he asked Sheng Bowen. The little one said to bring Secretary Ren along. How am I going to look for her? She has her own life. Don't worry, she's single. It won't be inconvenient. Sheng Xiao followed Mu Qiqi's words and hung up without waiting for Sheng Bowen's reply. Sheng Bowen's eyes widened. Wasn't it strange for him to call the secretary in the middle of the night and ask her out for a meal? He thought that as a superior he was going to sleep with the secretary. These two people were completely making things difficult for him. However, eating was not the main point. Mu Qiqi had done a great job today. If he couldn't even satisfy Mu Qiqi's request, it wouldn't make sense. Therefore he bit the bullet and found Ren Yufei's number. Then he braced himself and dialed the number. He even silently prayed in his heart that Ren Yufei had already turned off her phone and gone to sleep. However, he didn't expect the phone to ring and Ren Yufei picked up. President? Yes, it's me. Sheng Bowen pretended to be serious. Are you asleep? Well, Xiao Qi asked me out for a meal and asked me to call you. She said that you've been working hard with me recently. She asked if you're willing. Okay, tell me the address. Ren Yufei trusted Sheng Bowen very much. Since Mu Qiqi was there, the situation shouldn't be awkward. See you later then. He didn't know what Xiao Qi was up to. She had to see Secretary Ren in the middle of the night. Was she very familiar with her? No matter what, Sheng Bowen didn't have any other thoughts. After greeting Old Master Sheng, he went straight out. On Xing Zhao's side, Mu Qiqi was overjoyed. I can totally imagine third brother's embarrassed look when he called Secretary Ren. Do you think they have a chance? Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi helplessly. This thing had been getting into all sorts of matches lately. I can see that Secretary Ren likes third brother. She admires him from the bottom of her heart. So, I think they really have a chance. Third brother doesn't like people like Hu Ran, who are ordinary and have no experience. Secretary Ren has always been with him in his career, supporting each other. He shouldn't be able to resist this type of person, right? Unable to retort, Xing Xiao could only shake his head. Soon the two of them arrived at the agreed place. However, what was surprising was that Sheng Bowen had not arrived yet. He even let Secretary Ren sit alone in her seat and wait. Chief Sheng, Miss Mu. Since you're not in the company, don't be so restrained. Mu Qiqi sat down beside Ren Yufei. This girl was really beautiful. No wonder Sheng Kai had chosen her to seduce Sheng Bowen. But our identities are different. Before the three of them could chat for a while, Sheng Bowen finally arrived at the hotel. When he saw that Ren Yufei had also arrived, he seemed a little more reserved. Oh, have you ordered? You guys drink your wine. I felt that I had a good impression of Secretary Ren, so I chatted for a while. Mu Qiqi took the initiative to ease the awkwardness between them. Don't be so stiff. After your CEO comes out, he's just an ordinary man. He also needs to eat, drink, and go to the bathroom. You were the one who called him out. Of course, you have to be responsible for taking care of him. Sheng Bowen threw the responsibility away. Mu Chichi did not take it. In any case, she had plenty of ways to deal with this loyal dog. Secretary Ren, you should be a little older than me. I'll call you Sister Yufei. Miss Mu, I'm afraid that's not a good idea. You're single now, right? In the future, come out often and see your CEO's rotten life after work. Sheng Bowen drank a glass of red wine and relaxed a little. He did not take Mu Chichi's bait. Who cares about you? Seeing this, Secretary Ren also laughed. I thought that the CEO treats everyone equally. It turns out that there are also those who are close and those who are distant. However, when she thought that Sheng Bowen was already married, her expression became a little gloomy. That's right. In front of those who are close to him, he has no image at all. Mu Chichi carefully observed Ren Yufei's expression and knew that she was very hesitant and evasive. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, Sheng Bowen was now a married man. This also proved that Ren Yufei was really kind-hearted. If it were those who had evil thoughts, they would not really care whether you had a family or not. She had heard a lot about secretaries rising to the top. Then the relationship between the CEO and his wife should be very good. After all, the CEO has a very good temper. That's hard to say. Mu Chichi did not intend to reveal the answer during the meal. Xiaoqi, I want to toast you for today's matter. The person I admire the most in my heart now has changed from eighth brother to you. Because now you're the person who can even control eighth brother. Mu Chichi turned around to look at Xing Zhao's expression. When she saw that the man was not angry, she smiled. That's right. However, Xing Zhao still snorted at the two of them at the right time. Eighth brother, don't be unconvinced. Do you think that Xiaoqi has the final say in your family? Have you ever heard of butterflies in the stomach? Xiaoqi is on top of you, which is in accordance with the law. Ahem, Mu Chichi's expression became a little unnatural. What do you mean by being on top of me? Why does it sound so erotic? Alright, cheers. Mu Chichi quickly poured wine into his mouth. Secretary Ren was also sitting at the side. Her face was red because she had seen Sheng Bowen many times, but she had never seen him drunk. Tonight, Mu Chichi had really broadened her horizons. Actually, did Mu Chichi care about this meal? Of course, it was to create an opportunity for the two of them to strike while the iron was hot. Throughout the meal, Mu Chichi kept pouring wine into Sheng Bowen's mouth. However, he was so happy that he was willing to drink. In the end, he directly collapsed on the table, shocking the three of them. Third brother's alcohol tolerance is at its limit. Mu Chichi looked at Xing Zhao. She had been tricking Sheng Bowen the whole time. She did not drink a single drop of wine. All she drank was grape juice. Then Miss Mu, please call Madam and ask her to come and pick up the CEO. Send him back, Mu Chichi said directly. Chapter 660. There's nothing to misunderstand. He's already divorced. Mu Chichi gave this answer when everyone was about to go home, especially when Sheng Bowen was already drunk. If he were sober, this would be so awkward. Ren Yufei was stunned. She obviously couldn't believe it. She must have many questions in her heart. She also understood that Mu Chichi was doing this to create an opportunity for her. It was very likely that she already knew what she was thinking. However, the more this was the case, the more she didn't want to be the one who took advantage of the situation. Even though she had been sent to seduce Sheng Bowen, take good care of him. We'll be leaving first. Ren Yufei did not reject Mu Chichi's good intentions, but she did not want to leave an image of a scheming woman in front of Sheng Bowen. Therefore, she gave the waiter a tip and the Sheng family's address and asked the waiter to send Sheng Bowen back safely. After returning to the banyan courtyard, Mu Chichi placed her body in the warm bathtub. She thought to herself that the human heart was really subtle. Soon Xing Zhao entered the bathroom. He took off his black nightgown and followed her into the bathtub. Then he held Mu Chichi in his arms. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about Secretary Ren. I wonder if she sent third brother home. If it were me, I would definitely have selfish motives. Thinking about how hard it was to have a crush on you back then, if I were given such a chance, I would definitely bring you back to my house and take a good look at you. Xing Zhao closed his eyes and did not look at her at all. He only said slowly, she asked the waiter to send third brother home. Mu Chichi, such a good opportunity had been wasted just like that. However, while Mu Chichi was clicking her tongue, she also sighed from the bottom of her heart. Actually, Sheng Kai had chosen a very decent person to be his spy. Don't do this kind of thing again. I don't like it. Mu Chichi was still in a daze when she heard that. She turned her head to look at him. Alright, I won't do it anymore. I'll just keep my eyes on you. I won't look anywhere else, okay? Xing Xiao did not say anything. His right hand gently stroked Mu Qiqi's head, making her feel sleepy. Mu Qiqi yawned and fell asleep on the man's chest in the bathtub. Anyway, when she woke up the next day, she would definitely be in bed. Late at night, when everyone was sleeping soundly, the employee of Huang Yao who was being chased by the police had been brought back to the police station in Jianchuan and would be interrogated overnight. Why would a girl, a dignified customer service representative, take the risk out of desperation and commit a crime? The girl did not panic. After she was arrested, she remained silent. She only made one request to the police. She wanted to see her family. Because as long as her brother was saved, it meant that the person had kept his word and she would not expose him. Also, did Xing Bowen think that this matter was over? In fact, this was just the beginning of Xing Kai's revenge. After all, it was old Xing's birthday in March. As his grandson, he should learn from eighth brother and send him a birthday gift. The next day, Xing Bowen woke up from his big bed at home. When he thought about how he was forced to drink by Xiao Qi and how he had embarrassed himself in front of Secretary Ren, he suddenly felt his ears burning and couldn't help but blush. He didn't know who sent him back, but after he got drunk, he fell asleep. During breakfast, old Master Sheng looked at Xing Bowen with a strange gaze. I heard from eighth brother that you brought your secretary to dinner last night? Qiqi asked me to bring her, Xing Bowen explained. However, from the old man's point of view, it was only because the little girl had seen through something that she would let the secretary attend a private dinner. Wasn't that obvious enough? If the secretary's family background is clean, bring her back to take a look. I'm very relieved to be able to take care of you in your career and life. Xing Bowen finally understood why Mu Qiqi had to drag Secretary Ren out last night. It turned out that she had such a plan. Grandpa, I just treat her as a secretary. Don't think too much. Alright, I was just saying. You should go to work. Old Master Sheng could see how slow Xing Bowen was in this aspect. It was no wonder that there were no sparks when he lived with Hu Ran. He had never thought about what it would be like to hug a woman and be intimate with her. Xing Bowen was very helpless, especially when the other members of the Sheng family looked at him as if he was having an affair with his secretary. Eighth brother is such a blabbermouth. Do you really have to explain everything in detail to the old man? Therefore, on the way to work, Xing Bowen called Xing Xiao. Eighth brother, since when did you and Grandpa have such a good relationship that you can gossip about me? My woman is worried about your marriage. What do you think? In other words, Xing Xiao felt that he was in the way. Are really black-bellied and sinister as always. Xing Bowen hung up the phone and went to Huang Yao. When he saw Ren Yufei, he should have been embarrassed. However, Ren Yufei pretended that nothing had happened. She just pointed at the conference room and said, "The police are here." In that case, the person had been brought back. Coincidentally, he also wanted to know why there were still people who would repay kindness with enmity. Huang Yao had never treated its employees badly, especially after he took office. In the morning it was rainy. A large group of people from the Yi family had come, all for the sake of making Mu Tangxue dazzling at the engagement ceremony. What happened in Huang Yao this time had made Mu Qiqi shine again. So, Yi Jingqing had to spend more energy and money on Mu Tangxue. He wanted to let the world know that Mu Tangxue was the noble goddess and Mu Qiqi could never be seen in public. Mama Yi sat in the living room with a gloomy face. After she was slapped by Yi Jingqing, she knew that Mu Tangxue was not as simple as she thought. So she could not act rashly. Mu Tangxue knew that she was holding back. So, she was always stepping on Mama Ye's bottom line. Especially when there was no one in the living room, she deliberately put on the pigeon egg Yi Jingqing bought for her and showed it off in front of Mama Yi. I knew it. Brother Jingqing really loves me. I said I wanted this diamond and he did everything he could to get it for me. Auntie, I really want to thank you for saving me from the slums. Don't be too happy. Mama Yi snorted. You should know that it's easy to get karma when one is too happy. I think this sentence is more suitable for your entire family. After that, Mu Tangxue smiled. I'm going to ask Brother Jingqing for his shares tonight. Auntie, aren't you going to stop me? Chapter 661. You've touched my things but you've never asked me. Mu Tangxue sneered. She raised the pigeon egg between her fingers and admired it for a while before returning to her room. Why would she care about this now? She just wanted to make this family suffer. Yi Jingqing would never let her go and she would never let him go either. So, evil people should torture each other like this. Mama Yi saw Mu Tangxue's smug expression. She could not wait to tear Mu Tangxue's mouth apart. But she knew it was exactly what Mu Tangxue wanted. She was not that stupid. However, she would never agree to let such a jinx marry into the family. Even if her son was not on her side, she still had her husband. A grand engagement ceremony? That would depend on whether it could be held smoothly. Wasn't Muchichi, the little bitch's elder sister, at loggerheads with her? She did not know if Muchichi was willing to help her deal with this little bitch. After the incident at Huangyao, Muchichi could finally return to the forensics laboratory. But when she returned to the police station, she found that everyone was out on duty. There was another murder case. Muchichi took out her phone and called Feng Shanshan. She thought it was fine this time. After all, she had rested for a few days. Where are you? Why didn't you tell me about the case? In a building in the city. Feng Shanshan said while vomiting. It's so disgusting, give me the address. I'll come over now. I think you're the only one who can be as steady as a mountain and help the professor. After saying that, Feng Shanshan gave him the address. Muchichi received the address and rushed to the crime scene. However, the scene was too spectacular. Now, only Tang Yen and the professor's expressions did not change. Of course, after Muchichi came, there would be another Muchichi. Muchichi arrived at the scene in 20 minutes. But when she was downstairs, she could already smell the stench of a corpse. The police saw Muchichi entering the cordon and quickly stopped her. Muchichi quickly took out her ID, but the police recognized her. You are Muchichi. Go in. Was she already so famous? Muchichi shook her head and went straight to the 6th floor. She saw a group of people covering their noses at the door, and there were several lumps of filth at their feet. It seemed to be a big case. Xiaoqi, you're finally here. When the group of senior brothers saw her, they quickly made way and said, Shanshan has been vomiting inside, so we can only vomit along with her. Hurry up and help the professor. Muchichi was pushed through the door and was left dumbfounded. In the huge living room, there were actually 4 corpses lying on the ground. The giant phenomenon was obvious, and 2 of the corpses had internal organs scattered on the ground, mixed with some green. It looked colorful and spectacular. No wonder this group of people vomited so exaggeratedly. He looked at Muchichi again. She was really calm. Feng Shanshan quickly grabbed her and said, Hurry up and help, I can't stay here any longer. Muchichi took over Feng Shanshan's work, and then Feng Shanshan went to Tang Yen. I'll help you. The deceased is a male between 18 to 20 years old and between 1.6 to 1.65 meters tall. The time of death is estimated to be about 15 days ago. There are no obvious injuries on the body, and according to the secretions in the nasal cavity and mouth, the cause of death is poisoning. As for the specific type of poison, we need to go through detailed tests and further dissection. This one should be a disembowelment, and the murder weapon is a very sharp dagger. It directly pierced the victim's abdomen from the left side, and then left a wound that is about 15 centimeters long on the right side. The process of examining the corpses this time was extremely difficult, because each of the 4 people died in a different way, even though they looked so young. The 6 forensic doctors spent almost an hour sorting out the things at the first scene. At the door, the police were questioning the informant. Officer, I am the landlord of this house and I rented it to one of the children. But he is already 18 years old and he is working outside to earn his living expenses. This child looks quite honest. He has been living here for more than a year, and there is nothing wrong with him. He pays the rent every 3 months. This time, it's because I received a complaint from the neighbors. They said that there are always some strange insects climbing in front of my house, and the house is getting more and more smelly. I had no choice but to get someone to unlock the door, but I didn't expect to see such a scene. Officer, don't you think I'm wronged? Who would dare to rent this place in the future? Muchichi and the others were helpless when they heard the landlord's words. After all, he was really innocent. After the forensic doctors finished their work, they returned to the police station. Because it was a major case, the police in the district felt that they could not solve the case within a time limit, so they went to the criminal investigation team and asked to take over. Tang Yen, of course, did not say anything. After all, as long as it was a case, he did not care about whether it was serious or not. The group of people rushed back to the police station. There were 4 dead bodies. This time it was really enough to make the forensic doctors busy. But at this time Mama Yi actually came to the police station. Chichi, someone is looking for you. Muchichi had just placed the bodies on the dissection table with the professor. When she was about to start working, she heard that someone was looking for her. She immediately took off her gloves and sterile clothes and went to the hall of the police station. Who is it? That lady? Muchichi looked in the direction where her senior was pointing and saw Mama Yi with a face full of disdain. That's true. A lady from a wealthy family would definitely get lice if she lowered herself to this kind of place. Madam Yi, are you looking for me? When Mama Yi saw Muchichi approaching, she quickly covered her nose. You have a very strong smell. I'm dissecting. Of course I smell. Madam Yi came to me without telling me. I don't have time to take a shower and change my clothes, Muchichi said coldly and put her hands in her clothes. Do you want to tell me? Mama Yi was also convinced by this pair of sisters. The elder sister did not want to be a rich lady, but had to do this dirty, smelly and dirty job that dealt with corpses. What about the younger sister? She had the heart of a snake and a scorpion. Every day she would bewitch other people's sons to achieve her own goals. They were really a pair of weirdos. Muchichi knew that Mama Ye's visit would not be a good thing. The biggest possibility was that Mu Tangxue and Yi Jingqing were going to hold their engagement ceremony a few days later. It was useless to oppose Mu Tangxue. So they wanted her, Mu Tangxue's enemy, to join them. However, these people probably thought that it was easier to find the police station and meet her. She really needed to greet her seniors in the future. Chapter 662. Mama Yi took out a tissue in disgust and covered her mouth. Then she took a few steps away from Muchichi and said, I know you don't get along with your sister. She has caused you so much trouble. You should want her to live a life worse than death. Now this little bitch is getting engaged to my son. She might live a better life than you in the future. Are you really convinced? I came here today to ask if you are willing to work with me to get your sister out of the country. Let her leave our sight and never disgust us again. Muchichi looked up at Mama Yi seriously. You used to be on good terms with the Mu family and treated Mu Tangxue as your daughter-in-law. But your attitude towards her has changed so much in such a short time. Whatever you say, I just want her to get out of my sight. Far away. It's best if she dies a horrible death. Recalling Mama Ye's love for Mu Tangxue and the adjectives she used on Mu Tangxue today, Muchichi thought that this world was really realistic and ironic. First of all, she can't be more famous than me. Because the Yi family is just a small family. You can barely make it into the top 100 in Jianchuan. Just because you have the right to talk to me doesn't mean that we are on the same level. Secondly, Mu Tangxue and the Yi family love to kill each other. Why should I interfere? I can't wait for her to turn the Yi family upside down. Madam Yi, don't forget how your son treated me when I was young. Lastly, don't come to the police station next time. This is a place to punish evil, not a vegetable market. I'm not someone you can see whenever you want. Don't you know who I am? Alright, I still have work to do. You can do as you please, Madam Yi. Having said that, Muchichi immediately turned around. She was really tired of wasting time on these irrelevant people. No, it was not irrelevant. It was disgusting. You and your sister will die a horrible death sooner or later. This is my curse to you too. When Mama Yi left, she shouted at Muchichi's figure. Many policemen in the hall heard it and all agreed that Mama Yi was very vicious. I really don't understand the world of these rich people. However, no matter what, I will stand on Xiaoqi's side because our entire branch knows what kind of person Xiaoqi is. When Muchichi passed by, she heard her seniors whispering to each other. She just smiled and said, Then I really have to thank you. Yi Mu returned without success, completely beyond her expectation. There was no doubt that Muchichi hated Mu Tangxue. But why wouldn't she cooperate with her? It was clearly the best time to deal with Mu Tangxue. Even so, even if there was a deep grudge between Muchichi and Mu Tangxue, she wouldn't help an outsider against her own sister, would she? Especially since the Yi family was not innocent. Soon Muchichi returned to the lab. Meanwhile, the others were busy examining the corpse. Of the 4 victims, 1 died of potassium cyanide poisoning, 1 was stabbed to death, 1 was electrocuted to death, and the last one was hacked to death. The 4 of them died in different ways, and according to the current state and characteristics of the corpses, the conclusion is that the 4 of them died at almost the same time. You've all been inside the crime scene. What do you think now? The professor asked the others. Muchichi thought about it and answered, 4 people dying at the same time sounds like a vicious murder case, but that's not actually the case. 4 people died in 4 different ways at the same time, and that alone doesn't fit the characteristics of homicide. Isn't it too complicated if there was only 1 murderer? Moreover, how could 1 murderer kill the victims in 4 different ways at the same time? Let's assume that there were 2 or more murderers, but there were no traces of anyone else in the house. There were no extra footprints, clothing fibers, or fingerprints, let alone signs of a struggle. How could such a huge case with so many people be cleaned up so cleanly? Most importantly, the murder weapons were all at the crime scene. That's why I have a bold hypothesis that you all already know. These 4 people either committed suicide at the same time or killed each other. According to the distribution of the corpses, the one who was stabbed to death and the one who was hacked to death should have been facing each other before they died. As for the other 2, one was lying on the sofa, poisoned by potassium cyanide, while the other was electrocuted and sitting on the floor. They must have planned this beforehand. Group suicide. The professor nodded. You're right. The DNA on the murder weapons has been tested. We'll get the answer soon if it's as you guessed. What we need to do now is to confirm the source of the corpses. Why would 17 or 18-year-old kids commit suicide together? Of course, the rest was up to Tang Yen. So Tang Yen took off his gloves and left the autopsy room. Feng Shanshan could not help but sigh. They're at such a good age, but they chose such an extreme way to end their lives. What kind of things did they go through to give them the courage to die? Who knows? Nowadays, young people's psychological endurance and ability to resist pressure are really far inferior to their predecessors. No matter what, if you have something unhappy in your heart, you must release it in time, especially you, Shanshan. I remember that you and Tang Yen are neighbors. If you have anything that you can't get over, remember to look for Tang Yen. That kid is also good at psychological counseling. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She could not help but snort coldly in her heart. I'm afraid you don't know your nephew at all. Alright, that's all for now. Hurry up and change. Then Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan went to the changing room. At this time, Mu Qiqi smiled at Feng Shanshan. Haven't you told anyone about you and Captain Tang? With his personality, he's always on the front line. Even 10 bulls can't hold him back. What's the point of telling others? Feng Shanshan asked. I wouldn't be surprised if he suddenly disappears one day. What can I do? I can only smile at life. You're not sad? Don't forget about Dai Shi, who didn't even sleep for Captain Tang. Don't mention it. I'm still angry. Chapter 663. Why did the man from the Yi family look for you? He asked me to talk to Mu Tongxue. Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Qiqi and shook her head. These rich families are really strange. The Sheng family is like that, and so is the Yi family. Are these people unable to live the life of the rich? They have nothing to do every day and they don't contribute anything to society. And they're always looking for trouble. If you ask me, who should I ask? Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. I don't care about the matter between the Yi family and Mu Tongxue. To put it bluntly, it's just a dog-eat-dog plot. But I'm going to Mu Tongshua's engagement next week. Since there's a good show, of course I'm willing to go. Feng Shanshan thought that sometimes being born into a rich family was not as good as being like her. She had some spare money and was free. It was really boring to plot against each other every day. Soon, the field personnel screened the identities of the deceased and found that they had one thing in common. Their family conditions were very poor. However, they came from different places and their family backgrounds were not exactly the same. There must be a reason why these 4 people from different places gathered together. Now, everyone's mission is to investigate the detailed information of these 4 people, from their family background to their social connections, as well as their interpersonal relationships. Everything must be clear. Of course, after Tang Yen assigned the task, he also walked to the entrance of the branch office. However, when he turned around and saw Feng Shanshan, he turned back and walked to her. Wait for me at the station tonight. Let's have dinner together. I'm very tired. I want to go home and rest. It's the professor's birthday today. After saying this, Tang Yen left quickly. However, Feng Shanshan, who was left behind, was confused. Did he mean that he wanted to bring her to dinner because it was the professor's birthday? Was that what he meant? His parents were not around. So, the professor was his only family now. Since he wanted to bring her to dinner, did that mean that she was meeting his parents? But why should she meet his parents? Should she meet him just because he said so? In fact, Tang Yen was outside the autopsy room just now. He heard the conversation between the 2 girls, especially Feng Shanshan's words. If he suddenly disappears one day, I won't be surprised at all. He knew that he couldn't give people a sense of security, and he also knew that Feng Shanshan's elegance was all an act. However, he would not simply disappear. At least, after meeting Feng Shanshan, he cherished his life more than before. Mu Qiqi saw Feng Shanshan standing awkwardly at the door of the laboratory and leaned on her shoulder. Since he's taking you to meet his parents, it means that Captain Tang is very serious about you. What are you still worried about? I just feel that it's too sudden. This doesn't match Tang Yan's style of doing things. It makes me very uneasy. Most importantly, although the 2 of them slept together, she did not know Tang Yan at all. Everything she knew about him came from piecing together all sorts of information, especially from the professor. She didn't even know him, but she wanted to meet his parents? She couldn't do it. Looking at you, you don't seem too willing? Feng Shanshan didn't say anything. She was really unwilling. At least, before Tang Yen told her about the past, she didn't want to be fixed. Therefore, when Tang Yen returned to the police station in the evening, he did not see Feng Shanshan. What are you looking for? The professor saw his outstanding expression and quickly asked. Where's Feng Shanshan? This girl is tired. She went home, the professor said. According to the usual practice, shouldn't you have dinner with me tonight? I want to have dinner with you, but now there's one less person. Let's go to my house. I know Aunt is still abroad and can't accompany you for your birthday. Okay, wait for me to change. Actually, the professor really wanted to persuade Tang Yen to move out of this graveyard because he didn't want his ex-girlfriend's matter to affect Tang Yen's life. However, when the off-road vehicle arrived at the entrance of the courtyard, the professor was surprised. Your place? My place has been sealed now. It's just a studio now, but I rarely go in. Then where do you live? Tang Yen pointed at the light next door. There was a garden in the courtyard, and there were reclining chairs on the lawn. The professor followed behind Tang Yen in confusion. He took out the key and opened the door. Then everyone was stunned at the same time. In the living room, Feng Shanshan was sitting on the sofa eating snacks. In fact, her brain was still stuck. You guys, we're living together, Tang Yen explained to the professor. Then he turned to Feng Shanshan and said, Shanshan, make some tea. Feng Shanshan was stunned for a moment and quickly gave up her seat. She didn't expect Tang Yen to bring the professor to his house when she ran away from the police station. Speaking of which, she was really angry. Did she agree to it? When did this happen? The professor still couldn't suppress his surprised expression. It's been a while. I just didn't tell you, Tang Yen said directly. No wonder she was so nervous when you were injured. She wanted to help you teach Dai Shi a lesson when you were sent to the front line. The professor suddenly understood. You two kids usually don't say anything. Since you're together, then so be it. Why can't you talk about it? This is a good thing. It's not convenient in the police station. We still have to do business. Feng Shanshan listened to their conversation. She made some tea in the kitchen and brought it to them. Oh, I know it's the professor's birthday today. Sit down first. I'll make a few dishes. You can talk while you eat. I didn't know that you're good at cooking, little girl. The professor laughed. I just know some home-cooked dishes. Feng Shanshan quickly left after saying that. Since you're already with the little girl, you should let go of the things that happened in the past. You don't have to work so hard in everything. If you get hurt like last time, who would be able to bear it? This little girl is also alone. She has no one to rely on. Don't let her worry about you every day when she just got a lover. Uncle, I'm going to get married, Tang Yen suddenly said. The professor was stunned because Tang Yen had had girlfriends before. The last one was even unforgettable. However, he had never told him so formally that he had plans to get married. When she's of age. It looks like you're tempted. That's good. The professor thought about it and his eyes turned red. If your father was still alive, he would be so happy to know that you're finally getting married. Chapter 664. If you really have the determination to protect her, don't be like before, risking your life for the sake of investigating cases. Make more friends and don't be so lonely. With your ability, if it weren't for your quiet personality, you wouldn't have been a mere captain a long time ago, and you wouldn't be a third-level superintendent. Tang Yen, remember, protecting the country is a responsibility, and protecting the family is also a responsibility. If you can't even protect your wife, how can the people of the country put their lives in your hands? Think about it yourself. While Feng Shanshan was cooking, the uncle and nephew chatted in the living room. Soon, Feng Shanshan brought the food to the table. They're all very home-cooked dishes. Don't mind them, Professor. I'm lucky to be able to eat the dishes cooked by my niece-in-law. I thought I would never see this kid have a girlfriend again in my life. The professor picked up his chopsticks happily and tasted every dish. Feng Shanshan looked at Tang Yen and did not say anything. After the professor left, she would settle the score. Looks like I'll have to come here more often in the future. The professor ate very happily. He stayed in Feng Shanshan and Tang Yan's house until late at night before leaving in satisfaction. This was probably the happiest birthday he had in recent years because he finally had an answer to Tang Yan's father. However, the moment the professor left, Feng Shanshan started to make things difficult for Tang Yan. Did you get my permission to bring the professor back just like that? I thought you would be very happy with our relationship. Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and turned to look at Tang Yen. Which eye of yours sees that I'm happy? Tang Yen did not say anything. He turned around and was about to return to the bedroom. However, Feng Shanshan felt a sense of guilt, as if she had bullied her little wife. So she stopped Tang Yen. When are you going to tell me about your past? I don't mind that you have countless girlfriends. I just want to know what you've been through in the past. I don't want to be forced to accept it when things happen. Tang Yen, you're willing to let me see the professor, but you're not willing to tell me about your past. Tang Yen looked up and stared into Feng Shanshan's eyes. He sighed. Sit down. When Feng Shanshan heard that Tang Yen seemed to have compromised, she quickly went around to the sofa and sat down. Let me say this first. If you feel uncomfortable after listening to me, you can't break up with me. Tang Yen also sat on the sofa. He placed his hands on his thighs and interlaced his fingers. I've been living alone since I was 10, so I became very antisocial and liked to get into fights. When I was 15 or 16, I got into a fight outside and was sent to the juvenile detention center. I was locked up for 8 months. It was also in the juvenile detention center that I became enemies with a very famous gangster. He swore that once he got out, he would kill me for revenge. So, as soon as I left the juvenile detention center, my uncle forced me to go to the police academy because it was safer there. I got into the police academy, but I still couldn't control my temper. I got into a fight with a colleague and got a major demerit. I was almost fired. It was the gangster who threatened me who changed my life. He stabbed me and I was hospitalized for 3 months. From then on, I kept my temper in check. Because I was good in all aspects, I was chosen to be an undercover agent. It was a drug gang, and it was a gang with a lot of gunpowder. I spent a year to gain the trust of the boss and followed him as his second in command. Later, I released important information and cooperated with my colleagues in the police force. Finally, we destroyed the gang, but my identity was also leaked. In the first few years, my enemies were hunting me. I hid everywhere and often went to the front line to help with some important cases. It was only when my enemies were caught one after another that I finally had peace. But perhaps it's because I'm used to this uniform, this job, and I've seen the great good and the great evil in the world. That's why I'm on the front lines. Because I've seen the various methods of those criminals. I think that people like me are born to deal with those vicious people, because I feel that I'm actually the same kind of person as them. Women, I don't avoid my casual side at all. Since I was a teenager, I have never stopped being with them. But I don't play games with relationships, so most of the time I end on good terms. What about the previous one? Feng Shanshan felt that she did not mind that Tang Yen had never stopped being with her, but she cared about his previous one. Because in her subconscious, she felt that this previous one was the person who had the greatest influence on Tang Yen. Especially after the previous one passed away, he did not look for a woman for 2 to 3 years. The previous one was a university student who did research. She said that she liked the male hormones I exuded, so she chased after me for 8 months. I agreed, but I did not have extra time to accompany her, so she complained more and more became more and more dissatisfied. We did not spend a long time together. The real time we spent together was less than a month. Because I always disappeared for a few days, she could not stand it anymore and had an affair with another man. After I found out, we broke up peacefully. But later she came back to find me. Because she was seriously ill, I kept her by my side to fulfill my duty. In the end, I sent her away and found a grave to erect a tombstone for her. After that, I met you. Is she a special existence to you? Tang Yen shook his head. She's the same as before. There's no difference. Then why was there 2 years between you? Or should I say, am I also one of them? Feng Shanshan, when you've been locked in a small dark room for a month, thrown into the mountains for 3 months without any help, and fought with drug dealers every day, you'll know that as a spy, your heart must be hardened. I admit that perhaps the way I look at women is no different from how I look at other things, because I feel that only life is precious in this world. But you jumped out of the stereotype of a woman and injected a few drops of fresh blood into my already dead heart. After hearing this, Feng Shanshan was very touched. She moved her throat. Muchichi is also very special. But I am not interested in other people's things. Most importantly, I see the shadow of my past in you. Chapter 665. In fact, Feng Shanshan's feelings were really complicated. She also understood why Tang Yen was so quiet and taciturn. It was because he had seen through all the truth and hypocrisy in this world. He had experienced pain and torture that others could not feel. How could such a person be affected by the little things in life? To him, solving cases was the only value in living. But it was also because of this that Feng Shanshan was extremely obsessed with him. This man was a hero in her heart. She had an indescribable sense of worship for him, although she had never said it out loud. However, Tang Yen had already shown her his past. What about herself? Should she continue to hide the fact that she had hid a child for that scumbag? I've already gotten the answer I want. Why should I stop? Feng Shanshan asked Tang Yen in return. It wasn't easy for me to find a man that I'm crazy about. Why should I let go? It's just that there are some things that I want to tell you in advance. After all, I don't want those things to be dug out in the future and stabbed into each other's hearts. If you mind, then I don't mind, Tang Yen answered directly. Do you know what I'm going to say? I know. Tang Yen summarized it with 3 words and placed his gaze on Feng Shanshan's abdomen. His meaning was self-evident. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She did not expect him to even know this. Do you really not mind, or are you pretending? Do you still want to talk about it in the future? After hearing Feng Shanshan's words, Tang Yen took off his shirt and revealed the scars on his body. Do you think I care about my body that much? Feng Shanshan did not say anything. After a long while she smiled and said, Then let's get along like this. I don't ask for a romantic life. I just want you to be alive. I don't need you to take care of me. I just want you to be by my side. You do your job as a criminal police officer, and I'll do my job as a forensic doctor. There's only one thing. If we can have a child in the future, I hope that you can be by my side when I give birth. Do you understand? Tang Yen did not just understand. Long-term training had made his hearing very good. However, if he used words to answer at this moment, it would seem a little too shallow. So, Tang Yen carried Feng Shanshan from the sofa and walked quickly to the bedroom. Once he made up his mind, he would not change it. Even if he died, he would not let go. The next day, the mass suicide of the 4 youths attracted a lot of attention from the outside world, and all kinds of discussions followed. Some said that they had been brainwashed, some said that they had encountered evil spirits, and there were all kinds of rumors in the streets. The police were currently conducting an investigation, but the chief requested that the case be closed as a suicide as soon as possible. After all, they could not make the public panic. Since it wasn't a homicide, there was no need for the Special Investigation Unit to take action. The police in the district could handle it. Tang Yen was ordered to hand over the case, and he had to obey the order. So, the case was soon taken over by someone. The people in the police station instantly became idle. Although everyone wanted to know why these young people would make such an extreme choice, it was impossible for them to do so. He had never thought that there would be a follow-up to this matter. Soon, it was time for Mu Tangxue and Yi Jingqing's engagement. The rich circles were also talking about Mu Qiqi and Mu Tangxue. The sisters had been entangled for some time, but in the end they had each married off to a rich family. Still, would Mu Qiqi attend Mu Tangshue's engagement ceremony? There was no doubt that Mu Qiqi would go. After all, she still wanted to watch the drama between Mu Tangxue and Yi Jingqing. The 2 of them had left such a huge shadow in her childhood. Now that it was a dog-eat-dog time, how could she not go and watch the drama? However, Mu Qiqi knew very well that the reason Mu Tangxue took such a dangerous step was to take revenge for Mr. Liu. But even if the news of her engagement was spread everywhere, Mr. Liu would not show any concern for her. That morning, Mu Qiqi got up to take care of herself. She saw the man behind her putting on his shirt. She immediately walked over and helped him tidy his shirt. Is Mr. Liu getting used to Zhongting? I think so, Xing Xiao replied calmly. He is quite calm. He seems to be having a good time. Although you don't want to admit it, you are still feeling sorry for Mu Tangxue. Xing Xiao lifted her chin and looked into her eyes. Even if Mu Tangxue is so hateful and deserves to die. If it's someone else, I will be the same even if it's not Mu Tangxue, said Mu Qiqi. Can you come home early in the morning and pick me up? Since you are going to watch the drama, you should go to the wedding earlier. 10 o'clock sharp. Xing Xiao pinched the bridge of Mu Qiqi's nose and walked out of their bedroom. Mu Qiqi watched Xing Xiao leave. She hoped that the drama today would be more exciting than the investigation. Otherwise, it would be a waste of her precious time. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. The guests of the Yi family had started to appear on the lawn of Xingye Hotel. After all, it was the engagement day of young Master Yi and Mu Tangxue. But Yi Jingqing's parents did not come out to welcome the guests. They were still sulking at home. Yi Jingqing was wearing a blue suit. When he went downstairs, he looked at his parents. Dad, Mom, it's my engagement today. Can you give me some face? Mama Yi snorted. Papa Yi did not want to go out and embarrass himself. He waved his hand. You go alone. We won't go. How can I not go? Yi Jingqing's voice had a hint of danger. If you don't go, I will mess around with Yi Holdings. How dare you? I've given all my shares to Mu Tongxue. What do you think I won't dare to do? Yi Jingqing's parents were threatened by their own son, but they could do nothing about it. They could only say, you go first. We'll go and change our clothes. Hurry up. After that, Yi Jingqing went upstairs excitedly to fetch Mu Tongxue. Then they went downstairs together. But what about Mr. and Mrs. Yi? They were fuming. Hubby, what should we do now? We have to think of a way. It will be too late if they get engaged. Let me think, Papa Yi said. He paced back and forth in the living room anxiously. This unfilial son is not afraid of being kicked out of the board of directors. He doesn't care about us at all. I want to cut off our relationship as father and son. What about Mama Yi? She looked at the red wine bottle on the table. There was no hurry. There was still room for redemption. But to be honest, how many people would go to the engagement ceremony to give their blessings sincerely? Weren't they there to watch the drama or laugh at the joke? Chapter 666. Papa Yi and Mama Yi went to their son's engagement party in ordinary attire. Mama Yi was even dressed in a solemn black outfit. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was going to attend a funeral. There was not the slightest hint of joy on the faces of the two old men. Their faces were filled with unwillingness. How was this a wedding? It was clearly a funeral. Thinking about it, Yi Jingqing was really pitiful. In this engagement banquet, other than him, the other three people probably had their own thoughts in mind. But soon, the huge lawn of the hotel was filled with guests. What surprised Yi Jingqing even more was that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao really came. Xing Xiao was wearing a brown coat with a gray suit underneath. He still looked like a dignified CEO. Holding Mu Qiqi, who was also wearing a beige coat, they walked to Yi Jingqing. I didn't expect Chief Sheng to come. It's really an honor for Yi Holdings. Enchanting was a military enterprise. The power behind it was mysterious and shocking. In the past year, Xing Xiao had quickly built this huge kingdom in Jianchuan with the most ruthless methods. So, it was indisputable that he was the youngest tycoon in Jianchuan. Yi Jingqing thought that Xing Xiao was disdainful. At least, to Enchanting, Yi Holdings was just an egg that would break with a light touch. My wife wants to watch the show. I have to satisfy her curiosity. Xing Xiao's answer was quite wicked. There was a hint of mockery and danger in his eyes. Yi Jingqing chuckled and said calmly, Chief Sheng, please. I will let you have a feast for your eyes later. Mu Qiqi held Xing Xiao's arm and looked up at Yi Jingqing. At this moment, Yi Jingqing was beaming with joy. She wondered how Mu Tongxue would make him pay later. Let's go. Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi into the hotel. But Mu Qiqi thought of how he described her just now. How did I become your wife? If you are not my wife, who is? Xing Xiao smiled. It was obvious that he was in a good mood. Mu Tongxue was dressing up in the bride's lounge upstairs. It was not her turn yet, so she let the makeup artist skillfully apply makeup on her face. She was going to be the most beautiful bride for Yi Jingqing later. In the past, she had imagined countless times in her mind that if she was lucky enough to marry Mr. Liu, she would look very beautiful in this white dress. But now she was going to marry her enemy. Miss Mu, raise your head a little. We're going to wear the crown. There's no need to go through all that trouble. This is fine, Mu Tongxue said flatly. The makeup artist looked at the accessory in her hand and finally nodded. Okay, I'll put the crown away. Soon, a waiter brought warm water to the guests in the lounge and a glass for Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue looked at the colorless, odorless, transparent liquid, and her lips curled into a faint sneer. You guys go out first. Let me calm down for a while. All right, we'll come in and call you when the ceremony is about to begin. After they left, the lounge suddenly became quiet. Mu Tongxue sat in front of the mirror and suddenly felt that the person in the mirror was so strange that she almost couldn't recognize him. A good show was about to begin. Soon, the ceremony was about to begin. Yi Jingqing looked at his wristwatch and walked to the bride's lounge. But at this moment, Yi Jingqing suddenly heard moaning coming from the room. He frowned and opened the door to the lounge, only to find his bride, Mu Tongxue, making love on the bed with a waiter from the hotel. Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue suddenly woke up. She grabbed the blanket and covered her body. But the red stain on the bed made Yi Jingqing's eyes turn scarlet. The waiter was probably frightened by Yi Jingqing's anger, so he hugged his clothes and crawled away. At this time, Yi Jingqing went forward and grabbed Mu Tongxue's wrist. Did you do it on purpose? Must you stab me in the heart with a dull knife? I don't know anything. I was delirious just now. I became like this after drinking that glass of warm water. Mu Tongxue tried her best to explain. I'm telling the truth. Yi Jingqing's eyes were red. He turned to look at the glass of warm water on the dresser. I'll ask someone to come in and clean it up for you. No matter what, we have to get engaged first. Yi Jingqing didn't have time to think about her. He walked out of the lounge and asked the makeup artist and the others to go in again. Not only that, he walked to the lawn with a murderous look and dragged Mama Yi to a secret place. Mother, I want to ask you a question. You must answer me truthfully. What now? Did you drug Mu Tongxue? Yi Jingqing questioned Mama Yi fiercely. Mama Yi's face flashed with unnaturalness. Although she denied it, she couldn't hide it from Yi Jingqing. You can't wait to put a green hat on your son's head, can't you? Are you crazy? Mama Yi was stunned by his shout. She slapped him. I don't agree to let that bitch in. I don't agree to it. Do you understand? Unexpectedly, Yi Jingqing went crazy and pinched Mama Yi's neck. Whether you agree or not, she is my woman. No one can change that. Let go. Let go. Murder. Murder? Yi Jingqing let go of her. At the same time, Mama Yi was very disappointed. So, the first thing she did after she stood still was to complain to her husband. When Papa Yi saw the strangulation mark on his wife's neck, he immediately walked up to the stage and shouted angrily, "Today's engagement ceremony is cancelled. The Yi family will never marry such a daughter-in-law." The guests looked at each other. Although they guessed that Mr. and Mrs. Yi would be unhappy, they didn't expect Papa Yi to be so direct. Father, it's my engagement ceremony today. You can't cancel it just because you say so. We won't stop you if you insist on getting engaged. But Yi Jingqing, let me tell you, I Yi Fengtao don't have a son like you anymore. I want to cut off our relationship as father and son. Yi Jingqing raised his chin. He was not afraid at all. This completely infuriated Mama Yi. Shameless thing. I'll pretend that I've never given birth to an unfilial son like you. You can live with that bitch till your hair turns white. After that, Mr. and Mrs. Yi wanted to leave the engagement ceremony. This caused everyone to be unable to understand. Wasn't the Yi clan's actions a little too unsightly? However, at this moment, Mu Tongxue came out of the room in a wrinkled white dress. She looked disheveled. Her makeup was all ruined. Her neck and arms were covered with marks. It was too much to imagine. Chapter 667. Mama Yi did not expect Mu Tongxue to come out like this. She quickly said, "You bitch. Aren't you afraid of offending public decency by coming out like this? Isn't it all because of you?" Mu Tongxue splashed the cup of warm water on Mama Yi's face. "You really put in a lot of effort to stop me from marrying your son. You drugged me and gave me a man. Do you think I will let your son go just because I am ashamed? No, your whole family tortured me like this. Where do you think you're going now? When I was young, your son tortured my sister and pushed her into the swimming pool. When I grew up, your son refused to marry anyone but me and kept me by his side. It's all your son's fault. Why do you have to take revenge on me?" Mu Tongxue screamed as if she had gone crazy. "Don't talk nonsense. Are you out of your mind?" Mu Tongxue walked to the center of the stage with her arms bare. Then she stood in front of Yi Jingqing. "In order to get me, you threatened me with Mr. Lu's life. I compromised. I'm willing to marry you. But why didn't you control your mother? Why did you let me suffer so much? Are the Yi family all devils? Yi Jingqing, how can I marry you after your mother made me like this? I've already asked the people at the hotel, and they found out that your mother was the one who drugged me. I, Mu Tongxue, was humiliated 1,000 times in front of the Yi family." Tongxue. Yi Jingqing's heart ached. "I didn't know it would become like this. You don't know what you can't do to get me? Now the whole world knows that I had sex with another man before I got engaged to you. Are you going to keep wearing me like a broken shoe?" Yi Jingqing reached out his hand. But he felt ashamed to grab Mu Tongxue. Because it was Mama Yi who did it. It was the person closest to him who did it. "What I gave you is the drug that caused you to be in a coma. It's not a drug that makes you seduce men. You are debauched. What excuse do you find to slander me?" At this moment, Yimu finally couldn't bear to roar out. That being said, it also confirmed that she had drugged Mu Tongxue. "You admit that you drugged me. That's good." Mu Tongxue laughed miserably. "Yi Jingqing, even if you still have the face to ask me to marry you, I will never marry you again. Because your whole family is full of scum. Scum through and through." In the end, Yi Jingqing reached out and grabbed Mu Tongxue, but she quickly dodged his hand. Get lost. A mother-in-law set up her daughter-in-law to sleep with someone else on the day of her engagement. If this gets out, your family will be the laughingstock for the rest of your life. Tangxue, I know. You still won't let me go, but it's fine. I know very well that you'll only let me go if I die in front of you, right? With that, Mu Tangxue crashed into the stone pillar of the ceremonial platform. The MC was shocked and quickly hugged Mu Tangxue. Don't do anything stupid. Mu Tangxue sat on the ground and cried, her heart breaking. When Yi Jingqing saw Mu Tangxue breaking down like this, the last line of defense in his heart was finally broken. I don't want to marry you. I don't want to. Mu Qiqi stood below the stage. Her expression was very calm from the beginning to the end. She still thought that Mu Tangxue acted well, but she was not smart enough. Although this method humiliated the Yi family, it also hurt herself. Wasn't it not worth it to use her innocence to punish Yi Jingqing? However, she seemed to understand Mu Tangxue's grievances. Her current actions showed that she had given up on herself. On the stage, Yi Jingqing couldn't help but take 2 steps back. After such a long dream, he finally woke up. So, he walked up to Mr. and Mrs. Yi and told them, "You won't have a son anymore. In this lifetime." Then he left the hotel, abandoned everything behind him, and drove his sports car as fast as he could on the road. Although Mr. and Mrs. Yi hated Mu Tangxue, they felt that it was more important to pursue their son now. So, they ignored the guests and chased after her. The guests left one after another. At this time, Mu Qiqi walked up to Mu Tangxue, took off her beige coat and put it on her. You did it on purpose. It's not over yet. Mu Tangxue looked at Mu Qiqi and smiled. Sister, do you know? We've been fighting for so long, but today is the happiest day for me. Because I did something that I wanted to do instead of following in your footsteps and being your shadow. Mama Yi is an idiot. She thought I didn't know what she was going to do. But she didn't expect that even if she didn't drug him today, I would still do it and slander her. Let me tell you a secret. Yi Jingqing's car was tampered with. Even if he doesn't die today, when he realizes that it was all my plan, do you think he will feel like 1,000 arrows piercing his heart? This is the price he has to pay for touching Mr. Liu. At this moment, Mu Tangxue did not look like she was in pain. She only looked happy. She had sacrificed everything for Mr. Liu. Sister, arrest me. I should have gone in earlier to atone for Grandma and Mommy. If there's a next life, I will learn from you and be a good person. At least, when I fall in love with someone, I won't have to lie to hide my filth anymore. Mu Qiqi did not say anything. Giving her a coat was already the most benevolent thing she could do. As for whether Mu Tangxue was guilty or not, it was not within her jurisdiction as a forensic assistant. On the road in Jianchuan, a blue Lamborghini was speeding on the road. The traffic police tried to stop it, but it was too late. Yi Jingqing hit the guardrail and the car flipped over. When Mama Yi saw it, she fainted. But the miracle was that Yi Jingqing was not dead at all. He could not die. After all, he had to live to hear the truth. Mu Qiqi did not like such a bloody ending. At least, she did not need to pay for what she had suffered when she was young with a human life. After all, she knew how precious life was. It was good that Yi Jingqing was not dead. Just as Mu Tangxue said, she was looking forward to Yi Jingqing's expression when he found out about this. After what happened today, the Yi family would not have the face to stay in Jianchuan anymore. When Mu Qiqi saw this, she could not help but look back at her man. Xiao, give her a place to settle down. It's best to throw her in Zhongting's factory. She should never come out to see people or harm people again. Chapter 668. Yi Jingqing's left hand had a comminuted fracture, and his brain had a slight concussion. In addition, he had all sorts of external injuries. If he wanted to fully recover, he would have to stay in bed for at least a month. After the surgery, Yi Jingqing woke up from his coma. When he saw his parents standing at the head of the bed, his expression was unusually cold. Jingqing. My life. Mama Yi immediately rushed over and lay in front of Yi Jingqing. You're finally awake. Do you know that you scared Mom and Dad to death? Let's go. Yi Jingqing's voice was hoarse and dry as if he had been rubbing on sandpaper. Mama Yi was stunned for a moment. Then she said to Yi Jingqing, Silly son, do you know that all the plans today were planned by that woman? Mom did drug him, but it was a knockout drug. How could I let my son be so humiliated? Besides, the police have checked your car just now and found that there are stones under your brakes. Isn't this going to kill you? Jingqing, you have to believe me. Yi Jingqing didn't want to hear anything. He just wanted to sleep. So, no matter how Mama Yi explained, he just closed his eyes. Mama Yi was helpless. In the end, she could only keep quiet and let Yi Jingqing rest. She would definitely find evidence of Mu Tongshue's cruelty. It was all because of that woman that the Yi family ended up like this. When Mu Tongxue woke up again, she was already in Zhongting's internal factory. It was a completely enclosed place. If you didn't go out first, no one could find you. I'm the person in charge of the factory. Miss Mu, you can call me Manager Gao. According to Madam's instructions, I've arranged a room and a position for you. If you're willing to stay here, your treatment will be similar to that of Zhongting's interns. Zhongting. Mu Tongxue murmured. It seems that I have no other place to go except here. Don't worry. It's absolutely safe here. No one can find you unless you're willing. I didn't expect that it would be my sister who gave me a way out in the end. As long as Mr. Lu lived well and she didn't see Yi Jingqing, it would be heaven for her. After the engagement party, the whole Yi family was caught in a scandal. The news that Mama Yi drugged her daughter-in-law and caused her to be humiliated spread everywhere. Everyone was criticizing her. So, her image as an evil mother-in-law must have been deeply rooted in people's hearts. The Yi family would not be shaken by this matter, but it would definitely be laughed at. Unfortunately, Father Yi and Mother Yi were such people who cared about their faces. Now, apart from staying in the hospital, the two of them refused to go anywhere. In fact, it was to avoid the gossip of the outside world. After Yi Jingqing woke up, he didn't talk to his parents at all. He didn't even blink. He was in a daze all day because he had a lot of questions in his mind. He just wanted to find a chance to run out of the hospital. Soon, Yi Mu left the ward to the bathroom, but when she came back, she saw that the person who should have been lying in bed had disappeared. Yi Jingqing went to the hotel and found the man who was having sex with Mu Tongxue in the room. Seeing that Yi Jingqing was covered in wounds, the man was frightened and quickly begged for mercy. Mr. Yi, I don't know anything. I didn't have sex with your wife. She just asked me to act. Yi Jingqing grabbed his collar and pushed him against the wall. If you dare to say a word, I will make you wish you were dead. It's true. Your wife is really good at acting. I really didn't touch her. Yi Jingqing couldn't use force, so he let go of the waiter's collar and leaned against the wall, panting. Other than this, what else do you know? I think your wife really doesn't want to get engaged to you. She even asked another colleague of ours to buy some medicine for her. As you know, the hotel has that kind of service. They also have a special channel to get the special medicine. Get lost. Yi Jingqing understood what he meant. It was all a show that Mu Tongxue had written and directed. It turned out that his mother's explanation was true. Mu Tongxue didn't want to marry him from the beginning. She even embarrassed him so much and tampered with his car. Did she want him to die that badly? Mu Tongxue, how could you be so cruel? Did I make you feel so bad? Then Mama Yi caught up with him and saw her son kneeling on the carpet. She quickly went to help him. Jingqing, get up. Get up. Get lost, all of you. Yi Jingqing said helplessly. Am I not good enough to her? I treat her with all my heart, but I didn't expect that someone would want to kill me. Jingqing, she's the bitch. It's not your fault. Yi Jingqing broke free from Mama Ye's grip and walked out of the hotel. Mu Tongxue, come out. Come out now. Yi Jingqing shouted on the street, completely ignoring the traffic. Don't you want me dead? I'll die in front of you now. Is this the only way to avenge your Mr. Lu? Bitch. After shouting, Yi Jingqing turned around and stopped in front of a big truck. Then he heard the brakes. Mama Yi, who was chasing after him, saw Yi Jingqing's body and flew out. Son Jingqing. Was there anything more exciting than this? No. Mu Tongxue would rather destroy her innocence than be with him. She had never seen him as a lowly person in her heart. She only loved Mr. Lu. At this moment, Yi Jingqing felt that there was no meaning in living anymore. He just wanted to end it all. He just wanted to sleep for a long time. Late at night, Mu Qiqi received the news that Yi Jingqing had committed suicide. Not only did he want to die, but he also wanted to harm other people's truck drivers. What did other people do wrong? Mu Qiqi had no pity for people like Yi Jingqing. He was a scumbag who did not deserve anyone's pity. But maybe he was lucky or something else, he did not die. But his limbs were broken. Even if he recovered, he would be disabled for life. Maybe it was because she saw the news on the news. Although the news was very subtle, it said that a man surnamed Yi committed suicide for love and endangered traffic safety. However, when she saw him a few days ago, he was still arrogant and haughty. So, Feng Shanshan said to Tang Yen while drinking milk, Mu Qiqi's sister is really capable. Is this your attitude towards this matter? Tang Yen asked Feng Shanshan as he tidied up the coffee table. I know you respect life, But this scumbag really doesn't deserve any pity. Love can't be forced. It's fine if it was a normal woman, but she dared to mess with a drama queen. She deserved it. Tang Yen glanced at her and did not say anything. He just let her be. In fact, this matter, at the end of the day, was about the mutual affection between women. Chapter 669. Do you have something to say to me? Although Tang Yen could not get to Feng Shanshan's heart, he knew the general direction. When this person needed someone's help, he would definitely smile mischievously. Of course, he did not know that Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi were very similar in this aspect. Feng Shanshan lowered her head and drew circles on his muscular chest. Aren't you a boxing champion? You can fight and fight. Can you teach me some self-defense skills? I don't want to lose to Mu Qiqi. You can't learn these things in one go. It depends on years of hard work. Are you sure you can do it? If Mu Qiqi can do it, why can't I? Tang Yen looked at her for a while and finally said, Okay. I'll change the bedroom next door to let you practice martial arts. In the police station you always pretend that you don't know me, and I don't get any special privileges. So, I want you to teach me martial arts. That should be a special expression of mine in your heart, right? Yes. It was rare for Tang Yen to be so easy to talk to. Feng Shanshan was very satisfied. It was all thanks to their open talk. Feng Shanshan was a very easy person to satisfy. At least, her boyfriend had changed from a second-generation rich man to the captain of the criminal police force. It could be said that she was mentally prepared, right? That night, the one who had a complicated feeling was Mu Qiqi. Seeing Yi Jingqing in such a miserable state, she was, of course, happy. But at the same time, she felt a little uncomfortable. Because all these things happened to her sister. They were twins. Mu Tongxue was disheartened. It was normal for her to feel it. After Xing Xiao finished his shower, he came out of the bathroom. Seeing the little one in a daze on the bed, he walked over and hugged her. I don't remember teaching you to be sentimental. Your wife is very emotional. She learned it without a teacher. You don't have many days left, right? Xing Xiao suddenly reminded her. I really want to graduate early. Mu Qiqi was a little worried. Then I can focus on solving cases and don't have to run between school and the police station every day. You're right. There are some things that can't be taught in school. Mu Qiqi looked up at Xing Xiao in confusion. Then Xing Xiao leaned over seductively and moved the tip of his nose closer. For example, love. Bah! I remember third brother asking me if you have the final say in the family. He even used an idiom. Do you remember? Mu Qiqi lowered her head and thought for 2 seconds. Then her face turned red. Let's try it tonight? Up and down. That was not a problem, but Mu Qiqi was considering that her waist was not strong enough. The next day, Mu Qiqi was still sleeping when she heard her phone ringing. Having tormented the man for most of the night, Xing Xiao picked up Mu Qiqi's phone and walked to the window to answer a call. Initially, he wanted to let her sleep a little longer, but it seemed that it was impossible now. In a high-end residential area in the city, there was another mass suicide incident last night. Hearing this, Mu Qiqi naturally opened her eyes and propped herself up. Clean up and have breakfast. I'll send you to the crime scene. Who still remembers the condition of young Master Yi who was lying in a pool of blood yesterday? This page should be flipped over so decisively. Mu Qiqi believed that with Mu Tongshue's disappearance, Yi Jingqing would not do anything for the time being. Because he could not afford to be hurt. Soon, Xing Xiao sent Mu Qiqi to a high-end residential area in the city. This time, 4 people died again. But the way they committed suicide was slightly different from the previous ones. Because Tang Yen and the others had arrived earlier, they had a clear understanding of the case. When he saw the car that Xing Xiao used to send Mu Qiqi to work, he put down his white gloves and walked over. I haven't officially greeted you, Tang Yen. Xing Xiao looked at Tang Yen from the driver's seat and extended his hand. I've heard a lot about you. If you have time, we can have a good chat. After all, there are employees of Zhongting among the people who died today. Sheng Zhao's eyes instantly looked up, his deep eyes flashing with a dangerous glint. If you need Zhongting's help in the investigation, just let me know. Just one thing. Please take care of my people, Captain Tang. Who can compete with your influence in Jianchuan, Chief Sheng? Tang Yan's words sounded a little sarcastic, but Xing Xiao did not mind it. No one can compete with me. But the employees are still dead. If you have any questions, look for my secretary. Zhongting will assist in the investigation. After saying this, Xing Xiao glanced at Mu Qiqi. That heartless little thing actually did not look back at all. Then Xing Xiao reversed the car and left the high-end residential area where the crime happened. Tang Yan's eyes told Xing Xiao that there was a story behind him. Xing Xiao knew that this person was someone important. If he really wanted to ensure the little thing's safety, he had to maintain a good relationship with this person. At this moment, Mu Qiqi felt a headache at the crime scene. She really did not expect that there would be employees of Zhongting among them. If this matter were to spread, it would definitely cause rumors again. Previously, the other branch offices had closed the case as suicide and completely ignored the suspicions of Tang Yan and the others. Now that someone had died, they knew that the matter could not be hidden anymore. Someone needed to take the blame. So, wasn't the blame still on the Special Investigations team? Just like last time, the 4 victims are all men between the ages of 18 to 20. They died almost at the same time. One of them had his throat cut, one took poison, and the other 2 were strangled to death while the other was stabbed to death. From the results of the investigation at the scene, there are no traces of other people, so we rule out the possibility of others committing the crime. These children committed suicide again. They're so young. What? By the way, one of the children has a very special identity. He just passed the probation period of Zhongting and became an official employee. As for the others, we'll have to investigate them thoroughly. Are we going to close the case as suicide this time? The professor raised his head and looked at Tang Yan. I'll report it now and apply to close the case. Tang Yan walked out of the crime scene with his phone in his hand. His tone was rather sarcastic. Mu Qiqi looked at these young children and felt a little uncomfortable. She really did not want Zhongting to be involved in this. This was a murder case. Previously, Chief Cha did not allow it. Now no one dares to take this hot potato. We're the only ones who can. If he had allowed it earlier, this case might have been solved quickly. Feng Shanshan felt wronged for her man. Mu Qiqi looked at her and did not say anything. Are you worried that Zhongting will not be involved? Mu Qiqi nodded, feeling a little uneasy. They're just employees of Zhongting. What can that prove? Besides, how do you think Xing Xiao uses his brain? He's not someone that those people can frame. Do you have no confidence in your man? Chapter 670. Which man doesn't hate evil? Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes at Mu Qiqi. Don't think too much. It's fine as long as we get to the bottom of it. Mu Qiqi nodded. Thinking that she was surrounded by capable people, she was not so worried anymore. Tang Yan actually went to apply to close the case. The chief looked at him for a while and rolled his eyes at him. You're deliberately mocking me for not letting you investigate before, right? Now there are 8 lives and the higher-ups want us to solve the case within a time limit. I didn't think it through before. I'll try to give you a few more days. Do as you see fit. Then, the chief asked the police in the previous district to transfer the information of the 4 victims to the Special Investigations team of the branch because they had to investigate the case together. Then, Tang Yan held a meeting in the police station to sort out the clues and connections. Within a month, there were 2 consecutive mass suicides. Now let's sort out the key points. They were all male, around 18 to 20 years old. Their family conditions were difficult. Due to various reasons, they all dropped out of school and worked outside. This is the similarity that can be found in these 8 people. Now, let's talk about the current situation in your hands, Tang Yan said as he looked at everyone, especially at the information analyst. It's like this. I put the information of these 8 people on the internet for screening. Then, I found that these 8 people like to surf the internet. Other than sleeping at work, they basically surf in internet cafes. The information analyst said. If there must be a medium to gather the 8 people together and make them agree and reach a certain understanding, the only way is to surf the internet. The forensics department, 8 people. 4 of them killed each other and the other 4 committed suicide. Their methods were crude and they were indeed aiming for death. So, there's nothing special about them. Of course, I've given a detailed description of all the murder weapons, including the bayonet, electric shock stick, and potassium cyanide. This should help you find the source of the murder weapons, the professor explained. Tang Yan nodded. It seemed that they really could not rely on the forensics department for this case. The only thing we can do is to find out if there are any similarities between these 8 corpses. Mu Qiqi, what do you think? Tang Yan looked at Mu Qiqi after hearing the professor's words. For people in a group, 2 people kill each other and 2 people commit suicide. It seems to be some kind of fixed procedure. Don't you think this is some kind of ritual or some kind of game? I think the key lies in what these 8 people read on the internet before they died. I think that if we do a cross-screening, we should be able to get some answers we want. Tang Yan nodded and looked at Feng Shanshan. What do you think? This man still knew to give her a chance to speak. I have a friend who likes to play online games. Whether it's domestic or overseas, he's very proficient. I'll go and ask him if this is something that's trending online recently. Here's the arrangement. The professor and the other forensic doctors will examine the body again to see if we missed any important information. Little Luo and Little Gao, go to the internet cafes that these 8 people frequent and ask around about the situation. Chi-Chi, you and Little Long will visit the families of the 8 victims and see if you can find anything. I remember that one of them is an employee of Enchanting. When you go to Enchanting, try to keep a low profile. Don't cause any trouble for the military industry in the country. After all, they are just employees of Enchanting. Feng Shanshan and I will go to the internet police for help and visit her friend. Although you are studying forensic science, you have enough brains. You can choose other things in the future. Let's go now. Tang Yan's words made Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan look at each other. It turned out that this man knew how to use his power for personal gain. He still knew how to get some benefits for himself. Soon the team split up. Still, Mu Qiqi was feeling rather conflicted. Contact me if there's any news, Feng Shanshan said to Mu Qiqi when she got into Tang Yan's car. Mu Qiqi nodded and got into another police car. You usually avoid going with me. What's wrong today? Feng Shanshan sat in the passenger seat and could not help but ask Tang Yan. I have a feeling that your friend might really be able to provide important clues, Tang Yan answered as he drove. However, the sun was too strong. He was too lazy to do it himself, so he said to Feng Shanshan, sunglasses. Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes and did not argue with him. Since they were outside, she would listen to him. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi gave Xing Xiao a call. She was going to Zhongting for an interview later. She asked the relevant people to wait for her. Xing Xiao hung up and smiled helplessly at the phone. She was indeed the little one he had raised. Now she even found out about him. Then he called the internal line and called the secretary in. Your madam is coming later. Wait for her. I know. Madam is coming to visit because of that employee. I've already asked the people below to arrange for the relevant people to wait. Don't worry, Xiao. The secretary answered respectfully. I just don't know if she needs me to wait by her side when she comes later. Wait. Just wait. If she needs anything, just cooperate with her. Okay. The secretary seemed a little excited. Xing Xiao saw it and was a little confused. The secretary quickly explained, because I like Madam very much and I want to see her professional appearance. She's my idol. Xing Xiao snorted. His secretary had become that little one's fan? Let's go. Because the light emitted from that little one's body was really eye-catching. Soon, Mu Qiqi brought the senior to Zhongting's building. When she entered the door, she did not need to report at all. She did not need to arrange anything. This made the senior a little embarrassed. Qiqi, Zhongting's management shouldn't be so lax, right? Senior, have you forgotten? I'm the boss's wife. Mu Qiqi smiled. As she said that, Xing Zhao's secretary walked in front of Mu Qiqi. Madam, the HR manager and the child superior are already waiting. Chapter 671. Soon, the secretary brought the 2 of them into the conference room, where the HR manager and another person in charge were already sitting. The 2 of them only knew that the police would come to question them, but they did not know that it was their wife. The HR manager immediately understood the identity of the person who came. The victim's boss, on the other hand, was not particularly familiar with Mu Qiqi's identity because he had been in the factory for a long time. Madam, this is the child's resume. The HR manager handed the information to Mu Qiqi. This child's name is Luo Mingxian. He's 20 years old and has just worked in Zhongting for 3 months. He has passed the internship period. 2 days ago, his superior just gave him a report to be promoted. We know all this. I want to know something else. So, Mu Qiqi turned her gaze to Luo Mingxuan's boss. Officer, I'm the technician in charge of Luo Mingxuan's training. My surname is Lin. The man was only in his early 30s. He was mature and steady. His answers were logical and direct. This child graduated from an advanced technical school. Otherwise, according to Zhongting's recruitment standards, he would not be qualified to join. He's an honest person. Other than going to work, he's playing with his computer in the dormitory. His social circle is very small. Most of the time he goes to and from work with me. He doesn't have any bad habits. He came from a poor family. It was his uncle who helped him out so he could study. I heard from him that his parents divorced when he was very young and went their separate ways. His grandmother has cerebral palsy and his grandfather is a gambler. So, all these years he has been working hard to break away from his original family. Other than these, did you notice anything different about him from others, Mr. Lin? Muchichi looked at him very seriously. This was completely different from how Muchichi usually appeared in Zhongting. Hence, the secretary could not take her eyes off Muchichi. It's quite normal. He just doesn't like others touching his computer. I think it's personal privacy, so it's nothing special. He has a day off at the end of every week. Sometimes he goes out, but I don't know who he meets. Is his computer still there? Muchichi asked. The night before his accident, his computer was broken, so he told me that he was going out to fix it. Early the next morning, he left and took the computer away. Mr. Lin, please inform his family. If the police have any other questions, we will come and ask them again, Muchichi said to Mr. Lin. Okay, no problem. The other party nodded very cooperatively. If there's nothing else, I'll go back to the factory. With that, he stood up. Muchichi caught a glimpse of his hand and furrowed her brow. So, before he left the room, she asked, Mr. Lin, you must have been working as a technician for many years, right? Yes, it's been 11 years. It's fine. I'll look for you if I need anything. Muchichi did not tell him why she was asking. He waited until they were far away before asking the HR manager. Where did he work before he came to Zhongting? The HR manager thought for a moment and replied, I'm a veteran in the military enterprise. Why do you ask? What kind of technology would require the use of wrist joints? Isn't it strange to have a callus scar on that area? Muchichi looked at her wrist and said. Then she turned around and asked the cute secretary, Sister, how long have you been a secretary? 8 years. Do you use the computer often? Of course, the secretary replied. Then please raise your hand. The secretary did as she was told and showed Muchichi the condition of her wrist joints. 8 years of use had only caused a slight callus scar on her wrist joints. How bad would it be to have calluses like Mr. Lin's? Chichi, what do you suspect? Senior Long asked. I suspect that he's also an old internet addict, Muchichi replied. Of course, I just don't want to miss any information related to Luo Mingxian. The most important thing now is to find Luo Mingxuan's computer. Manager, can you get the video of Luo Mingxian leaving Zhongting's dormitory that day? I want to confirm if Luo Mingxian took his computer out. Yes, madam. Also, I need a list of the employees who have contact with Luo Mingxian. I hope you can prepare it for me. No problem. The manager nodded. This person is gone from Zhongting. You have to be careful of the media. The reason why the criminal investigation team brought me is because it's normal for me to appear in Zhongting. It won't attract attention. You have to do the best PR at all times. Careful. Senior Long could not help but give Muchichi a thumbs up. That's why it's really a waste of talent to let you be a forensic doctor. I just felt relieved, but now I'm worried again, Muchichi said meaningfully. Madam, do you want to see the CEO? He's in his office, the secretary asked attentively. Senior Long, wait for me for 10 minutes. Muchichi had something to say to Xing Xiao. Go. Muchichi nodded and followed the secretary. The two of them entered Xing Xiao's office through the special elevator. Are you done? Xing Xiao looked up and saw Muchichi. Muchichi sat on Xing Xiao's lap and sighed. I came to ask questions. I thought it was just a routine inquiry. This matter has nothing to do with Zhongting. But now I don't think it's that simple. What's the problem? The problem lies with Luo Mingxuan's superior, Mr. Lin. When I asked him about things related to Luo Mingxian, his answer was indeed watertight, and there was nothing suspicious about it. However, he did not tell me that he also likes to surf the internet, and that he is addicted to it. This deliberate avoidance makes me feel uncomfortable. I think he knows the inside story. That's why he deliberately avoided it. Xing Xiao saw Muchichi's serious look and pinched her nose. Forensic Dr. Mu is really observant. Don't worry, go. I'll arrange the rest of the things you want to do. You know me well. Muchichi reached out and hugged Xing Xiao. Xiao Xiao, Zhongting has just been established. I know your evaluation system is very strict. But don't ignore the impossible just because you are strict. I don't want Zhongting to be humiliated because of this. You little thing. How old are you and you already want to protect me, huh? Chapter 672. Xing Xiao lowered his head and kissed her lips for a moment. Finally he smiled. Got it? Go. Muchichi left the matter of the Lin family to Xing Xiao, and left Zhongting with Brother Long. It was only then that Xing Xiao called Su Che out. Go and investigate that Lin man. Report to me immediately if you find anything. Understood. Su Che immediately took action. Sheng Xiao would only feel at ease leaving such matters to Su Che. Madam seems to be worried that Zhongting will be implicated. After Mu Qiqi left, the secretary said to Sheng Xiao, they probably don't want the president to get involved in this mess. Sheng Xiao didn't say anything. He knew what the little one was thinking. She had placed him at the center of her heart. On the other hand, Feng Shanshan brought Tang Yin to find her friend who was good at online games. The other party was currently fighting in the club. From the looks of it, he should have some family background to be able to spend money in such a high-class place. Shanshan? The man thought he was seeing things. I haven't seen you in a long time. Are you here to see me? This is Officer Tang from the Jianchuan branch's Special Investigations team. He's here to ask you something. Feng Shanshan briefly introduced Tang Yin behind her and sat down beside the man. I'm a good citizen. I definitely didn't do anything illegal. Don't be nervous. We just want to know if there are any interesting online games on the market recently. I know you're proficient in foreign news, so I came to find you. Feng Shanshan immediately explained. Oh, then what kind of games do you want to know? As you know, there are many types of games. There are puzzle games, training games, and competitive games. Are there any types of games that require 4 people to form a team and have their characters enter the game or roleplay? Let me think about it. Are there any other details? The man with the crew cut asked. This shouldn't be called an online game, right? 2 people committed suicide, 2 people killed each other. The other party shook his head. Is there such a perverted game? I've never heard of it. It can't be a popular game right now. Otherwise I would definitely know of it. Feng Shanshan sighed and patted him on the shoulder. All right, thank you. It's fine now. Continue playing. After saying that, Feng Shanshan got up. She thought that she could get something out of this man. But now it seemed that he had made a wasted trip. But just as they were about to leave, the man stopped her. Wait, Shanshan. I just remembered something. What is it? Recently, there's a new forum called the Dark Abyss. I heard that this forum is very popular and very mysterious. It said that someone went in before and was scared out. I don't know if there's any information you're looking for, but you can give it a try. All right, I understand. Feng Shanshan remembered this forum called the Dark Abyss. Your new boyfriend, right? Quite handsome, better than the scumbag from before. Before Feng Shanshan left, the man gave Feng Shanshan a thumbs up. Seize it. Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes at him. How could his eyes be so sharp? After that, the 2 of them left. Tang Yin immediately called the information analyst at the bureau and asked him to pay attention to the forum called the Dark Abyss. Are you familiar with this internet addict? Are you asking this as my boyfriend or as Captain Tang? Feng Shanshan deliberately frowned and asked Tang Yin, if it's Captain Tang, aren't you being too nosy? Boyfriend. High school classmate. Are you satisfied? Feng Shanshan raised her eyebrows and asked Tang Yin, can I treat Captain Tang's behavior as jealousy? Tang Yin did not say anything. He just reached out and opened the door of the SUV. Feng Shanshan followed behind and snickered. She felt a lot more comforted because she finally felt that she had some place in Tang Yan's heart. At least, if it was in the past, he would not have done such a boring thing and asked such a boring question. Several teams gathered at the bureau in the afternoon, and each of them brought back different information. There shouldn't be any big problems with Zhongting, right? Feng Shanshan asked quickly when she saw Mu Qiqi. It's hard to say. Mu Qiqi thought of Mr. Lin. However, I also feel that it might be because I've gotten used to looking at people with suspicion recently. Everyone looks like a murderer. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Tell us later and let everyone analyze it together. Won't we know? What about your side? Do you have any clues? I know about a forum called the Dark Abyss. For the time being, I don't know if it has anything to do with these 2 suicide cases. Mu Qiqi nodded. Everyone sat in the conference room of the bureau. Tang Yin had just come out of the autopsy room and was about to hold a meeting with everyone. However, at this moment, the chief brought a tall female police officer in a police uniform to everyone. I found a helper for you. This is Officer Gao. She specializes in fighting cybercriminals and has a lot of experience, the chief introduced. Tang Yin, you're still in charge of commanding, but you should listen to Officer Gao's opinion. She's an expert in this area. As soon as the chief finished speaking, the tall and slender Officer Gao walked up to Tang Yin and extended her hand. I've heard a lot about you. Welcome. Tang Yin was obviously just being polite. We're preparing for a meeting now. Officer Gao, will you join us? Of course. There are already 8 deaths now. It's just that. I'm a little curious. Why are there so many young girls in your special investigations team? They're forensic assistants. Do assistants have to attend meetings too? I thought they weren't official staff and didn't have the right to speak on the case. After saying that, Officer Gao deliberately looked at Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan looked at each other and then got up from the table. You guys go ahead. We'll go to where we should be. Sit down, Tang Yen ordered. I'm still in charge here. Officer Gao's expression was obviously a little ugly. Although she had long heard of Tang Yan's straightforward personality and bad temper, she did not expect him to not give others any face. After all, they were of the same rank. These two children are used to following me to the field, so there's no need to send them away. Of course, Captain Tang has the final say here. The other party obviously did not intend to continue to push Tang Yan's buttons. However, Feng Shanshan was already obviously unhappy. This was because a woman's intuition had always been very accurate. This Officer Gao might not only be here for the case, but also for the man. Chapter 673. Now, tell me about your findings, Qiqi. We visited the families of the 8 victims and conducted a comprehensive investigation of their social media accounts, but we didn't find any useful information. The only impression these victims' friends and relatives had of the deceased was that they were addicted to the internet. However, because surfing the internet is actually a very private matter, they don't know what the deceased usually did online. Mu Qiqi made a simple summary. At the same time, we also found a very strange point. The computers of these 8 victims were either damaged or lost for various reasons. Other teams, continue. After Tang Yen heard this, he turned his gaze to the others. According to the information you provided, Captain Tang, we found the forum called the Dark Abyss. However, there are extremely high conditions to access this forum. Not to mention that the entrance is difficult to find, the address is fluctuating. According to the requirements, registered members need to pay a deposit of 100,000 yuan before they can officially join. We haven't been able to decipher it yet, so we can't check the contents for the time being. After hearing this, Officer Gao, who was sitting in her seat, laughed. This is a typical cybercrime. It should be under the jurisdiction of our department. We really shouldn't let you run errands for nothing. Officer Gao, what do you think? I can give you a detailed explanation now, but I don't want any unofficial colleagues to be present. After all, they're not from the police station. If the news gets out, who will bear the responsibility? After all, didn't this woman still feel that Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were eye-catching? Therefore, the two of them consciously stood up. Captain Tang, let's go back to the forensics laboratory first. Tang Yen glanced at her and nodded. How about this? Officer Gao said that this case is a cybercrime and doesn't belong to our major crimes division. I'll go to the chief now and hand the case over to you. Officer Gao's expression turned ugly again. She really didn't expect Tang Yen to protect these 2 interns so much. Perhaps the chief had heard that the 2 of them were arguing, so he specially came out of the office and said to Tang Yen, you have to believe in Officer Gao's professionalism. Listen to her arrangements. Shanshan and Qiqi leave for now. Since the director has spoken, of course I will do it. However, I would like to ask the director to immediately transfer the case. Since cybercrime is not within our jurisdiction, we should do what we should do. There is no need to hold a meeting. Look at your temper. Officer Gao came all the way here and this is how you treat your guests? Don't throw a tantrum. Tang Yen was not afraid of the director, but Feng Shanshan was. Mu Qiqi, let's go. Mu Qiqi nodded and left the meeting room, returning to the forensics lab. 2 sensible children after all. Seeing that Officer Gao was satisfied, the chief walked up to Tang Yen and said, Don't be so stubborn. Let's start the meeting and try to solve the case as soon as possible. Tang Yen did not say anything else. He only gestured for Officer Gao to go forward and explain what a cybercrime was. Do you think that woman is targeting you or me? Sitting in the morgue, the 2 couldn't help but gossip. It should be directed at the 2 of us. After all, they are experts and we are just interns. Mu Qiqi shrugged. However, Captain Tang has always been willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of the case. What happened today? He wants to fight that Officer Gao to the end. How would I know what's wrong with him? Feng Shanshan didn't think much of it. At this time, she wouldn't think that Tang Yen was doing it for her. You didn't tell him about Zhongting's situation just now? They don't like us now. What if we tell them about Zhongting and they use it as a pretext? Mu Qiqi snorted. Moreover, it's just my guess. There's no real evidence. You're right. The 2 of them waited in the forensics lab. However, not long after, the professor returned to the lab helplessly. How is it, Professor? Only an information analyst can keep up with what Officer Gao said. How can people like us who don't understand computers understand? I think that kid Tang Yen is going to have a headache, the professor explained. So, he went to the director's office again and asked to transfer the case. This really doesn't match that kid's character. In the past, if he encountered such a situation, he would definitely work hard and learn those things that he doesn't know. I don't know why, but this time he's not enthusiastic at all. Is it possible that he's taking revenge on the director? Look, when the first 4 victims committed suicide, the director didn't allow us to investigate. Now that the situation is serious, he asked Captain Tang to solve the case within a time limit. Instead, he's not in a hurry. Mu Qiqi thought of this possibility. Who knows what he's thinking? Although Mu Qiqi also wanted to solve the case, she wanted to hear that this matter had nothing to do with Zhongting. Therefore, no matter what Tang Yen decided, she would tell Tang Yen her findings in private. The few of them argued in the director's office until their faces were red. In the end, the director asked Tang Yen to calm down for half an hour before going back to tell him the answer. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi didn't know what happened in the office. The 2 of them packed their things. After all, they were interns. Since there was nothing for them to do, of course they had to get off work and go home. However, when she went to the bathroom, Feng Shanshan saw Officer Gao fixing her makeup in the bathroom. Although she was unhappy, she still greeted her respectfully, "Officer Gao?" After combing her hair, she turned around and looked at Feng Shanshan. "You and the other child admire Tang Yen a lot, don't you? Officer Gao, you should have heard that Mu Qiqi is Xing Zhao's woman, right?" Feng Shanshan explained. "What about you?" Feng Shanshan didn't answer Officer Gao's question, but she smiled. "I've known Tang Yen since I was in the police academy. After so many years, I've been thinking about him because I feel that men should be like him. Now that I think about it, it's been almost 10 years. Officer Gao, isn't it strange for an intern like me to say this? An intern will become a permanent employee sooner or later, and you've been by his side all this time. It's hard to guarantee that you won't fall in love with him over time. I'm just here to tell you in advance that Tang Yen is the man I like." Feng Shanshan smiled and walked to the sink. She slowly washed her hands and then answered Officer Gao, "What a pity, Officer Gao. You're still too late. You've known Tang Yen for 10 years, but he's sleeping with me at night." Chapter 674. She could imagine the expression on Officer Gao's face behind her. Then she told Tang Yen about it. After Tang Yen read the message, he did not even frown and silently put away his phone. He did not tell the team not because Feng Shanshan could not be seen, but because he felt that it would be inconvenient. However, if this matter was made public, he would not feel that there was any problem. He was a prodigal son who mixed in relationships. How could he not know that Officer Gao had a good impression of him? He insisted on doing official business and did not intend to leave any face for Officer Gao. This was because he did not want to have any connection with Officer Gao other than in official business. Now, Feng Shanshan had solved this problem. Officer Gao had to admit that when she left the bathroom, her expression was very ugly, but that was all. She had been paying attention to Tang Yen for many years and knew that Tang Yen had many girlfriends, but none of them lasted long. Even if his current girlfriend was Feng Shanshan, it was only because Feng Shanshan was young and beautiful. She always thought that no matter how many girlfriends Tang Yen had, they were just taking care of her man. Shouldn't a man like Tang Yen need a very powerful woman to be compatible with him? Tang Yen calmed down for half an hour. When he returned to the chief, he was still very stubborn. "I say, Tang Yen, are you deliberately challenging me? Do you know how much effort we put in to invite Officer Gao over? I know you're very capable, but your expertise is not in cybercrime. Chief, there are 8 lives now. If Officer Gao still wants to do what she wants and thinks that she has the final say here, then you can transfer the case away. You're really hopeless." The chief had no choice but to turn around and try to persuade Officer Gao. In the end, the other party compromised. "Are you satisfied now? I hope that Officer Gao will do as she said and fully cooperate. Even if she doesn't cooperate, I hope that she won't hold us back." After saying this, Tang Yen walked out of the chief's office. The relevant departments of the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology also provided the recent visit records of the deceased on the internet. After cross-screening, one of the high-hit addresses really included the Dark Abyss. Of course, there were a few other web pages. Although the Dark Abyss is very suspicious now, we can't miss the other domain names. Old Ching, get a way to enter the Dark Abyss as soon as possible. The others are responsible for investigating the other domain names. Move fast. Feng Shanshan, Xiaolong and I will go to the crime scene again. As for Mu Qiqi, go home and find your family. Because Feng Shanshan told Tang Yen about Mu Qiqi's discovery in Zhongting, Tang Yen asked Mu Qiqi to follow Mr. Lin's lead. The entire deployment did not include Officer Gao's position, so she asked Tang Yen directly, "What about me? If you need anything, Officer Gao, I'll definitely let you know." After saying that, Tang Yen said to everyone, "Let's go." Officer Gao crossed her arms and snorted coldly. She had never been treated so coldly before. It was the first time she had been treated so coldly by Tang Yen. Although she admired this man, he was too rude to her. But she had no choice. After all, she was the one who had promised to follow Tang Yan's arrangements. When Mu Qiqi walked out of the police station, she saw her man's car. However, before she got into the car, she caught a glimpse of Officer Gao walking out of the police station's main gate. Mu Qiqi got into the car and regained the arrogance that she should have as the daughter of a rich family and the wife of a CEO. This made Officer Gao feel uncomfortable from the bottom of her heart. However, some people were born with better conditions than you. This was determined at birth. Officer Gao got into her car. She did not dare to compare herself with Sheng Zhao's car. She drove at full speed and soon disappeared from Mu Qiqi's sight. Mu Qiqi smiled and found it very interesting. "Xiao Xiao, does this woman not have the fate of a queen but she has the disease of a queen? A proud woman will see all those of the same sex who are more outstanding than her as opponents and silently compare them." "I know," Mu Qiqi replied. "But I don't think she's competitive at all. Conceit is actually a sign of inferiority. She thinks she has everything but in fact she lacks everything." Sheng Xiao was not in the mood to care about others. He directly pulled Mu Qiqi onto his legs. "The HR manager asked me to pass something to you, but I won't give it to you for free." Mu Qiqi remembered that she had asked the HR manager to help investigate the video. She quickly hugged Sheng Zhao's neck and acted coquettishly. "You know that I'm curious but you still torture me like this. Show me first and then I'll agree to whatever you want." This thing had the identity of a rich young lady, but she had lost her childishness in the outside world. She was clearly 20 years old, but she exuded the charm of a mature woman. Just rubbing against his leg was enough to elicit a reaction from him. Sheng Xiao could not bear it anymore, so he whispered to Su Che, "Drive faster." Mu Qiqi heard the change in his voice, so she chuckled. "There's still some distance to go home. The nearest place is your office in Zhongting." "Are you sure?" "Of course I don't care, but when I get home my parents will be there. Besides, can you hold it in until then?" Sheng Xiao really wanted to hug this thing and melt it in his arms. "Su Che, let's go to the company." Su Che did not say anything. He quietly changed direction and drove the car back to the company. When the two returned to the company, they closed the door of the office and released their inner desires for each other on this tall building. Mu Qiqi only felt that this man seemed to have gone crazy, gnawing on her skin and nerves. But the next time she came she could not look at the sofa here. Sheng Zhao's office clearly had a separate lounge, but he was not interested in the big bed. The two sat on his office chair, still joined together and not separated. Mu Qiqi saw Sheng Zhao's shirt was loose and his eyes were dazed. She felt as if she had been electrocuted, and her whole body was numb. Sheng Xiao noticed her change and lifted her chin. "You're not full yet?" "No, you promised me. Show me the surveillance." Sheng Zhao's posture did not change. He just turned on the computer and played the surveillance for her. At that time, Luo Mingxian did leave with the computer and it was very early. "You must have investigated that man with the surname Lin, right? According to Su Che, this man is normal. He goes to work and takes care of his daughter when he gets home. He used to be addicted to the internet, but in recent years he rarely has the time to indulge in it." Chapter 675. "Are you sure you want to discuss such a serious topic with me in such a position?" Sheng Xiao asked as he held her neck. "Xiao Xiao. If Captain Tang gets the domain name of the Dark Abyss, can I spend 100,000 yuan to register it? Are you crying to me about being poor?" Sheng Xiao raised his eyebrows. Compared to the other rich young ladies, Mu Qiqi was practically a thrifty housewife. She was not interested in branded jewelry or clothing. It was rare for her to go shopping. Sheng Xiao had asked the designer to make the clothes for the season and send them over directly. In this aspect she was not like a woman at all. "You know that I don't usually spend money. 100,000 yuan is not a small amount. No one's money grows on trees. I also feel sorry for my man. Xing Xiao couldn't do anything about this little thing. He just wanted to press her on the table and dote on her again. In fact, he did just that. After both of them were satisfied, Xing Xiao slowly brought Mu Qiqi back to the banyan courtyard. However, as soon as they reached home, Mu Qiqi lay on the bed and fell asleep. After all, she had been tormented for a few hours and her energy had been drained. Then Xing Xiao made a call in the study. With his connections, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to find out about the forum called the Dark Abyss from the young masters he knew. He would see the results tomorrow morning. On the other hand, Tang Yen and the other two went to the scene of 2 more murders. Because the bodies had been moved away, the entire room seemed much emptier than before. The 3 of them carefully investigated the scene again and focused on searching the computers of the victims. Tang Yen did not even let go of the ceiling. However, they still found nothing. Perhaps it was because the lights were off and the 3 of them were holding their flashlights, but just as Feng Shanshan was about to put away her phone and turn on the lights, she accidentally swept the TV wall and found a red dot. Captain Tang found something. Tang Yen immediately turned around and found a miniature camera in the circular wall clock on the TV wall. Officer Long immediately took the camera down and looked a little excited. Maybe this camera captured a few people committing suicide. Feng Shanshan looked carefully at the location of the camera. It was obviously in the middle of the living room. In other words, through the camera, she could clearly see the complete scene of them committing suicide. Check the other locations and bring them back to the station for the technical department to analyze. Feng Shanshan had a hunch that there would be nothing inside. Let's go to the other scene to take a look. Maybe we can find something else. If there were cameras at both crime scenes, it meant that the murderer had seen the footage of the 8 people's deaths, or rather, he had kept it. This murderer is truly a freak. But how did he manage to make those 8 people willingly die? Who doesn't want to know the answer now? Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes at senior brother Long. No matter what, there's finally a breakthrough. Tang Yen, didn't my friend say that he had a friend who entered the underworld but was scared out of his wits? I want to find out what he saw and see if he can provide us with any information. It's too late today. We'll go tomorrow, Tang Yen said to Feng Shanshan. Go back and rest first. TSK, Captain Tang has learned how to be protective of the fairer sex. Officer Long couldn't help but laugh. However, running around all day is really too tiring. I'm a big man and I can't take it anymore. After saying that, the 2 of them went to the other crime scene and found a pinhole camera. Then Tang Yen brought the 2 of them back to the station. After explaining the matter of the camera, he arranged for them to take turns to rest and brought Feng Shanshan home. You're just going to exclude that Officer Gao? I think she's very sad. Isn't that what you want? Tang Yen asked Feng Shanshan directly. Even if it's what I want, don't say it so directly. According to your personality, you should still be thinking about the public. You're not someone who will change the way you work because of my preferences. Yes, it's not because of you. It's because I hate her too, Tang Yen replied calmly. Haven't you noticed her good figure? Feng Shanshan leaned against the passenger seat and looked at Tang Yan's side profile. Old. Tang Yen summed up Officer Gao with one word, which made Feng Shanshan laugh. I'll be this old in the future. After Feng Shanshan said this, her smile became even wider because she wanted to know if Tang Yen was really a relationship expert. When you were like her, I was already a middle-aged man. So, in front of me you're still a young girl. After Feng Shanshan heard this, she gave him a thumbs up. Now I believe you, Captain Tang. When you were young, you must have used these flowery words to deceive many women. I had no choice but to be in a thief's lair. In this regard, Feng Shanshan did not do anything. Not only did she not care about Tang Yan's past, she even teased him about his past. This was the confidence she found by Tang Yan's side. At least, she was not someone like Officer Gao who could be compared to him. After the 2 of them returned home, they quickly took a shower and went to bed. Before they could think about anything else, they hugged each other and fell asleep. The next day, Mu Qiqi sat up from the bed and saw the note Xing Xiao had left on the bedside table. On it was the current domain name of the Abyss. Mu Qiqi quickly brought her computer and successfully entered the registration page. As expected, she needed to pay 100,000 yuan to enter the website. Mu Qiqi gritted her teeth and finally used Xing Xiao's card to register as a member. Then she successfully entered the home page of the Abyss. It was no different from a normal sales website. You could use the 100,000 black coins you registered to buy anything there, including all kinds of calligraphy, paintings, antiques, orchids, gold, jewelry, and so on. The most special thing was that when you bought something, the website would automatically remind you. there was a 50% chance that the thing you bought was genuine. If you bought the real thing, then congratulations, the value of these genuine things could be millions or even tens of millions. But if you bought a fake, then sorry, your 100,000 black coins would be reduced to nothing. This was clearly a huge gamble. Spending 100,000 yuan to bet on a chance to get rich overnight. Mu Qiqi continued browsing and found that someone had really bought the real thing. Moreover, there was a series of professional procedures such as an appraisal certificate. However, other than that, there was nothing special. Then Mu Qiqi immediately called Tang Yan. Captain Tang, I've entered the abyss. Chapter 676. In order not to alert the enemy, Mu Qiqi spent a lot of money on that lousy website. She spent 100,000 yuan to buy a few lousy antiques, none of which were real. According to the website's prompt, there would be a system prompt the moment you bought it. This was equivalent to a scratch-off lottery ticket. It was full of the nature of gambling. The people from the branch office also wanted to use Mu Qiqi's username to go in and investigate. However, perhaps because they sensed that the IP address had changed, Mu Qiqi's account was prompted with an abnormality and she could no longer log in. This forum is too hooligan. Moreover, nothing in it is legal. But you said that it's illegal and the price is clearly stated. Moreover, they're all prompts. In the end, it's just taking advantage of the gambler's mentality. As someone who had entered before, Mu Qiqi deeply admired the brains of the forum's creator. We also entered the forum, but Qiqi didn't find anything unusual inside. Although the 100,000 yuan membership fee is expensive, there's nothing suspicious about it. Now that the internet is so developed, it's not surprising that there are a few forums like this. At most, we can just report it. After hearing Officer Long's words, Tang Yin turned to look at Mu Qiqi. Could it be that the IP address and bank account you used exposed your identity and aroused their vigilance? Captain Tang, my understanding is that the Abyss is not afraid of our investigation at all, Mu Qiqi replied. I agree with this. If the Abyss is really afraid of an investigation or if it has something to do with the 8 lives this time, they would have closed the entrance long ago. How could they still allow us in? Although they were very unwilling, the truth told everyone that the Abyss website did not seem to have anything to do with the murders. Even if those 8 young men had spent money to join the club, and even if they did not buy the real thing in the end, they would not commit suicide because of this, right? We went to the scene last night and found a pinhole camera at the scene. Unfortunately, the footage stored by the camera was all automatically erased, Feng Shanshan said. But what is certain is that when these 8 people committed suicide, the murderer must have been watching through the camera somewhere. So all the clues are gone now? Everyone fell into deep thought. A moment later, Feng Shanshan said to Mu Qiqi, Today, Captain Tang and I will go look for my friend again and eliminate the suspicion of the Abyss. I'll go with you, Mu Qiqi said. Anyway, the other domain names are still under investigation. Don't be so discouraged. Senior Brother Long comforted everyone. Our special investigations team has been established for so long, and there has never been an unsolved case. I didn't expect you guys to be so good at comforting yourselves. Officer Gao, dressed in a police uniform, walked out of the chief's office. I've said it before. This is my field. If you want to rely on the previous methods to investigate, it won't work. Cybercriminals hide behind computers and monitor everything. He must have seen the video of you going to the crime scene yesterday. Maybe he's laughing in his heart. These idiots are too gullible. Since it's your field, why do you have to put it in the special investigations team to investigate? Tang Yin asked Officer Gao. That's because you've been trying to catch this murderer for a long time. I've asked an information analyst to search for past cases. As long as there's a similar shadow, I've dug through all the files. Your cyber police still couldn't find the murderer. It's just that in the past, the murderer wasn't this vicious. Are you guys afraid of taking responsibility and trying to stir up trouble here? Tang Yin, I think I've been patient enough with you. When you say these words, you better know your limits, Officer Gao said angrily. How about this? I'll leave Officer Long and Old Cheng to you. You can use the resources at your disposal. I want to see if you can find the murderer. Who's afraid of who? The 2 bosses were saying harsh words, and the shrimps below expressed that they were innocent, especially Officer Long. He didn't want to follow this white-bone demon either, okay? Captain Tang, you guys take care of Officer Gao. The rest of you follow me out. Tang Yin gestured to Officer Long to calm this woman down and not cause any trouble. Although Old Cheng and Officer Long were extremely unwilling, they didn't dare to disobey Tang Yan's orders. They could only watch as Tang Yen left with the others. It's because we don't usually go online, so we don't know what new things young people like to play these days. The professor sighed helplessly. But forget about me. I'm already a bag of old bones. Why don't the two of you like new things? Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi looked at each other and didn't say anything. The two of them seemed to be getting further and further away from their identity as girls. However, just as Tang Yen was about to bring Feng Shanshan and Officer Long to find her friend, the professor pulled him to the side and said, "No one else knows about you and Shanshan, right? Except for Mu Qiqi. But just now, that woman surnamed Gao has already brought this matter to the chief." The professor was a little unhappy. Although this is your private matter and others have no right to interfere, what the chief thinks is another matter. You deal with it yourself. Understood. Tang Yen only said 2 words. He didn't have the time to deal with Gao Qiqi now. However, he would remember this grudge. The three of them traveled together and once again found Feng Shanshan's friend at the high-class club. "Shanshan, what do you want to ask this time? We want to know where your friend who was scared out is. Is it convenient for us to talk?" Feng Shanshan directly stated her purpose of coming. After hearing this, the other party hesitated for a few seconds. Finally he nodded. "I'll help you contact him now." After saying that, Feng Shanshan's friend walked out of the club and made a call. When she came back she told them, this friend of mine doesn't seem to be in a good mental state. He's been seeing a psychiatrist recently and can't take any stimulation, so he refused." When Feng Shanshan heard this, she glanced at Tang Yen and Mu Qiqi and didn't force them. "Alright then. Sorry to disturb you today." "It's fine." Feng Shanshan felt that the other party didn't tell her everything. But since the other party was unwilling to tell her, she naturally couldn't continue asking. The three of them walked out of the club in silence. They all felt that the forum was still full of strange things that made them feel uncomfortable. "Qiqi, where did you get your address?" Chapter 677. As if he knew that Mu Qiqi would ask for the domain name again, Xing Xiao hooked his finger at her. When he saw that she was sitting on him, he asked in a low voice, "Are you sure it's the problem with this forum? I registered as a member this morning and didn't find anything when I went in. However, I still feel that this forum is full of strangeness. There's an indescribable mystery to it. I have a feeling that I've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Why is the police relying on intuition to investigate cases now?" Xing Xiao curled his lips. "Or are you saying that the clues are broken now but you insist on biting on this thread? Is there any way to find out more about this forum? What's in it for me to find the information for you?" Xing Xiao asked Mu Qiqi seductively. His eyes were full of temptation. "Do whatever you want." Mu Qiqi said heroically. "That's what you said." After saying that, Xing Xiao dialed the internal line and asked the secretary to enter the office. "Go and invite the young master of the Yen family over. Let him come for lunch." "Is this young master of the Yen family that ridiculous rich young master? The one who married his father's lover? He's open and likes to hunt for novelty. If there's no news about him, then there's really nothing suspicious about the dark abyss." After saying that, Xing Xiao pointed to the sofa at the side. "Go and wait. I'll go to the meeting first." "Got it?" Before Mu Qiqi got up, she took the initiative to kiss him. Xing Xiao was so busy but she still pestered him thoughtlessly. It made her feel very guilty. After this incident, she would definitely not let her man be involved in these murders again. After 40 minutes of waiting, the famous young Master Yen was invited to Zhongting's office. The secretary guided young Master Yen in and saw Mu Qiqi sitting on the sofa with tea already prepared. "Hey, isn't this our little bride? I've heard a lot about you." Mu Qiqi knew that this young Master Yen was a fun person to play with. He was dressed in a wine-red suit and wore exquisite accessories. His hair was dyed flaxen, and he was as flashy as he could be. "Isn't young Master Yan's name just as well known?" The man smiled and cupped his fists. "Thank you for not despising me, President Sheng. We can still be friends." "I'm really sorry. I have something to ask of you today." Mu Qiqi gestured for him to sit down. Young Master Yen leaned against the sofa in confusion. After a few seconds he pointed at Mu Qiqi and said, "Could it be because of the forum?" Mu Qiqi nodded. "Last night, your President Sheng called me in the middle of the night and asked me for it. Did you go in and play? I'm a shallow player. I want to know how deep it is." Mu Qiqi looked at him seriously, hoping that he would tell her the truth. After young Master Yen heard this, he pondered for a few seconds and then asked, "You spent 100,000 yuan?" "Yes." Muchichi nodded. I also heard that you have to spend millions to watch a good show. Young Master Yen replied, although I also like to hunt for novelty, I still feel the pinch if I have to spend $1 million just to buy curiosity. However, I can share a few pictures with you. With that, young Master Yen took out his phone, flipped through a few photos and handed them to Muchichi. After Muchichi finished looking at them, she was stunned. That was because the photos were none other than the 4 dead people from 2 days ago before they committed suicide. Young Master Yen, do you know that these 4 people are dead? Who doesn't know now? Young Master Yen suddenly became a little gloomy. But didn't they commit suicide? They can't blame others. Where did these photos come from? A few rich friends shared them. I don't know where they came from. They probably spent millions. After listening to young Master Yan's words, Muchichi fell into deep thought. With these photos, she could be sure that the forum was definitely related to the 8 dead people. Little bride, there are too many messy things on the internet. You're a forensic doctor. How can you manage them? Besides, they're all suicides. No one can stop them. Muchichi put away her serious expression and smiled. You're really easy to talk to. You don't have the airs of a young master. I don't know anything. The only thing I have left is my tongue that won't rot. Young Master Yen laughed heartily. I really thought that President Xing wanted to treat me to a meal. So there's another purpose. I was the one who begged him. Besides, who said that I didn't sincerely invite you? This young Master Yen looked like a good-for-nothing. However, Muchichi felt that from this man's way of talking, he was just hiding his elegance. In fact, there was a gap in his heart. Otherwise, Muchichi felt that her man would not have become friends with him. Little bride, you really know how to talk. So, can you send me the photos? Young Master Yen shrugged. What's wrong with that? In any case, he had never seen the so-called million-yuan VIP account. He only had a few photos sent by others. After Muchichi kept the photos, she sent them to Tang Yen. The forum was definitely worth investigating. Moreover, the waters were very deep. That afternoon, Muchichi had lunch with Xing Xiao and young Master Yen. The atmosphere was rather relaxed and cheerful. This person was indeed eloquent and could spit out lotus flowers. Then Muchichi went to meet up with Tang Yen and Feng Shanshan. These photos are of Luo Mingxian and the others before they committed suicide. Since someone took such a picture and it was before they died, does that mean that many people were watching them commit suicide? Young Master Yen told me that only people who spend more than 1 million yuan are qualified to see such a big scene. Can we assume that the benefit of those million VIP users is to watch these 4 children commit suicide? Muchichi's deduction sounded a little crazy and unbelievable. But it was very strange, making people feel that it matched the truth. I keep feeling that we're getting closer and closer to the truth. Can't we, the police, find out who's behind the dark abyss? The forum only provides a platform for those internet experts to roam around. Who are you looking for behind the scenes? They're all hiding behind the computer. Who are you looking for to be responsible? Tang Yen answered. Not only that, the people from the technical department replied that the anti-reconnaissance technology of the dark abyss is very mature. It doesn't seem to be domestic technology. So, Captain Tang, are you saying that we really have to spend 1 million yuan to verify whether the so-called VIP users are watching the children commit suicide? You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.